Dun 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 dun. Peak fiction. Dun 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 dun. Let me start off today with a little story, man. Back in the day, whenever I used to surf RuneScape, old school RuneScape. I haven't played whatever they have now, but old school RuneScape and Naruto Arena. And shout out to Club Penguin and all the other games on Miniclip. I also used to send instant messages on the side. Just like a certain instant messenger Sama's about to send, hopefully soon. We are here today. We are here for the instant messenger Sama greatness, and I want nothing else. You know what I'm saying? As much as I would love to see what's happening in the Holy Land, I hope that this is going to remain with instant messenger Sama. Let's see. Hold on. Where's the camera? Bro, what in the world is this? What is this community crown thing? We have leaderboards in the... What is this? Bro, we have leaderboards in my community now? Or hold on, where's the camera for real? Is this the camera? Wait, what is that? Is that my wall? That's my wall. That's the stream. There's no wall in the stream. Wait a minute, what's going on? What is happening? Wait a minute. Warning? What do you mean warning? What's going on? Hold on. Hold on. Alright, wait. There we go. We're not on wall Sama anymore. Hold on, man. That was crazy. I was like, bro, why in the world's on the wall? Okay. We're good. Walls up. Walls up. Hold on. Let me make sure this is good. But yo, it is good to see everyone, man. Was definitely not expecting to be home for this particular installment. I was expecting to do this from like a McDonald's or something. But we are here, man. We are here for some peak today. And I will be here for the entire weekend. And so we'll be here for the potential live action season 2 trailer that looks like it's going to be dropping. Shout out to Akash Panda and Super for sending me a link to a YouTube video that showed the live action Straw Hats getting ready for Saturday. So that pretty much confirms we're gonna get something for One Piece on Saturday. More than likely gonna be our first time seeing Chopper. More than likely going to be our first opportunity to see a whole bunch of stuff within the trailer. So that's gonna be super exciting. And then of course, let's see if I'm able to do an anime reaction too, man, on Sunday. I know the original plan was to do it next week. But hey, since we're here, man, we might as well try to see if we can do it. So let's go ahead and see what we can do there. Now, what in the world is going on with this community thing? This is crazy. So shout out to In Due Time for being ranked number 1 with 100 XP, man. Alright, and then Rice Lucas at number 2, and then Lou Rock at number 3. So shout out to these individuals for being in the top 3 right now in the ranking. Is this like Discord where the more messages you send, the higher it goes? is that what it is? Josh Pointer. This is how we know it's about to be a peak chapter. Josh Pointer comes in with a 10 and says, there's absolutely no way Oda wrote this chapter. You would not guess a single thing that happened in this chapter, OMG. Does that mean we're going to the Holy Land, bro? Oh my god, bro. Oh, man. But then it could also mean we're still in LMAP with instant messenger Slava, man. I don't know, bro. I don't let me know, dog. Oh, my God, man. I can't wait, bro. I can't wait. That last cliffhanger was so absolutely insane that I just can't flipping wait, man. I can't wait. Thank you, Josh Pointer, for the 10 Always good to see you, as well as the all caps messages before the chapters, man. I'm so ready. Yo, Vex, man, it's good to see you, dog. Quack2 says this chapter dropped at exactly 12 a.m. on the dot last night. I was in the middle of playing Metal Slug 3. Shout out to Metal Slug. In hindsight, the level I was playing was very appropriate for the chapter. The chapter dropped last night at midnight? Man, dude, I went to sleep after the Knicks game. The moment the Knicks and Pacers game, I was like, that's my limit. No chapters out. We're going to bed. You know, and so woke up and the chapter was out, thankfully. North Side with a Z. My boy comes in with a 2 and says 10 out of 10 chapter, bro. I can't flipping wait, yo. I can't wait, man. I'm so ready. I am so ready. Like I said, it has to be. It has to be just based on where we left off. We left off on one of the most insane cliffhangers in the entire series. That is one of the craziest final pages. And the thing is, it just continued to escalate and escalate and escalate and escalate. Like, as it went on. It's insane. It is absolutely insane. JD Kurtz comes in with a 2 and says Jalen Brunson equals Bandana Zorro. That might actually be factual, bro. Yo, Jalen Brunson was cooking last night, man. It was nuts. It was nuts. From the moment the game started until the end. The Conquerors hockey was palpable, man. You could feel that thing. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Knicks in 7. That's facts. Blue Rock. Yo, Mist, what's good? What is good? Akash Panda. Yo, Akash Panda, man. That might be factual. Akash Panda says, Oda's going to make you regret making the top 10 chapters video before he's done with the series. Like I said, that's why I put a 2025 edition on both the chapters and the episodes. Because listen, man, the mural... for anyone who hasn't watched my top 10 favorite chapters video, the mural was in my top 10. So you can only imagine how it's going to feel when we continue the series. And it's inevitably going to be like half nostalgia picks and half Final Saga Oda picks. I mean, it's just the way it's going to be. You know, it's Final Saga Oda. I can't help it. I can't help it, man. I can't help it. My boy Josh! Yo, Josh, man, looking forward to talking to you again, bro. It's been a minute, man. It's been a minute, but glad to be back home to be ready for the peak. He says, bro, I love Yu Yu Hakusho. Now, I know how much Josh loves Yu Yu Hakusho. That might be his favorite anime of all time. But I don't know if that has something to do with this chapter now, bro. Hold on. What does that mean? What does that mean? Yo, are we about to get some, like, Shinobu Sensui stuff, bro? Are we about to go to... my boy Taguro? I don't know, man. What does that mean? Oh, that's peak. That's peak. Listen, I've known Josh for many, many years. If he brings up Yu Yu Hakusho, that means we're going to get some peak, man. We're going to get to some peak, bro. Some flipping peak. Oh, man. Thank you, Josh, bro. All love to you. Looking forward to discussing greatness with you, brother. Lexi D. Sunflower comes over for 26 months. His first live I'm able to catch in a long time. It's going to be a doozy. Yo, 203 people this early in the morning is nuts. It's nuts. I know we had a bunch of people last stream, but that was at 10 o'clock. It's 8:32 in the morning where I'm at, man. Like, insane. Insane. Now, let's go ahead and put up the... but I appreciate you. Thank you, Lexi D. Sunflower. Let's go ahead and start the poll. Are we reading the title this week? And then as I do that, let me go ahead and get the iPad because, man, it is time. You know what? Let me let me grab this just in case. All right, I grabbed the Jordan jersey just in case. It's just, bro. It has to be minimum Santa hat Jordan jersey level. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, it has to be. So we'll have that on standby. Bro. Come on, man. Look at the cliffhanger. Come on, look at that cliffhanger. Let me see. Let me pull this up right here. Josh Pointer comes in with a membership for 21 months, almost 2 years, bro. What's your goatee so far? Expedition 33 is mine. Yeah, me too. Expedition 33 is also mine. That's one of my favorite games ever at this point. That's definitely up there. So it's gotta be. Shout out to Expedition 33. Definitely my favorite of the year that's released this year. No question. Even out of the games that haven't released this year that I played, like that I'm playing for the first time this year that weren't released this year. I still say Expedition 33 is probably my favorite thing I've just experienced this year. And I'm just absolutely sensational video game. Thank you, Josh Pointer. Looking forward to seeing what happens at the actual Game Awards. Considering GTA it got pushed back to next year. So there's a chance, man. There's a chance for Expedition 33 greatness, but we'll just see. We'll see what happens. Then Secret Turtle comes with a 5. I said, you're not ready last chapter. I should have waited. Oda Sensei is the GOAT. Also, Roger Space is doing a member reverie. A member reverie? A member reverie? How? What is that? Like a... it's kind of like what King of Lightning does with his tier 3s, where he like gets people together to do a type of reverie-esque discussion, but with your community. That's actually super cool, man. Any thoughts of doing one? I would love to if I could figure out how to capture people's audio. One of the main issues that I've had about doing collaborations is capturing the audio of other people. Like, they have to capture their own audio, and then I have to do it. Just in case y'all don't remember, during the actual reverie, I hosted that from Jay's house. So Jay hosted the reverie to capture everybody's audio, and I went live on my side as just a host. But that entire thing was run through like Jay and the rest of the squad there. I didn't know what I was doing. I don't know how to capture the people's audio. So if I were to ever figure out how to capture other people's audio through my particular thing, I would love to do a member reverie. That would be awesome. That would be flipping awesome, man. All right. Yo, Akash Panda says 5:33 a.m. Pacific time, but we're here. Akash Panda, you are a G. Thank you for being here. On Elden Ring, the Night Rain Day, nevertheless, right? Like, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. At 5:33, that's pancake hours. That's pancake hours, man. So, let's go ahead. It looks like there aren't any more supers and or memberships coming in, and we have an 83% on the read the title, so that's a pretty good one. Holy sweet mother of Flagnards. It is the end of the month, so let's go ahead and put out our stream goal for this particular thing. We'll put the time limit here. And for this particular stream goal, we're going to do it again, just like last time. Ladies and gentlemen, if last time we did not reach it, so I'm going to put it up as a thing again because I know people were interested in it. But if you would like to see Recon's top 30, here is the thing. The goal has been started, especially with all the craziness that's been going down lately. I think this would be a fun time to do this. And so we have put up the stream goal for anyone that would like to do that. I want to do those at the end of the month. So it's May 30th, so we'll do that for the Recon's top 30. But here we go. Sleep is for the weak. That's right, Akash Panda. That's right. That's how I feel whenever I'm doing a One Piece live reaction at 3 o'clock in the morning. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Only for this series will I do what I have done today, which is cut everything in the middle, put everything to the side, come back home, visit my room of living, stop an entire hiatus just to return for a single weekend. Because chapter 1149's cliffhanger was just that peak. It was so peak that it's been rent-free non-stop ever since, man. It was so peak that when I'm in bed and I'm about to go to sleep, I hear the old ba-ding, the old instant message sound effect that would pop off. Ba-ding, ba-ding. Because, man, dude, who in the flying Flagnards would have called a chapter that had the Brook and Gunko stuff, a chapter that had the Scopper Gabon stuff, and then a chapter that had the Holy Land is in flames, followed by a final panel, the final panel of this dude, Instant Messenger Sama, officially pulling up to Elbaf. You can't make that up, man. It is nuts. It is absolutely insane. And so now we are here today to see the continuation of that. Now we are here today, live and in color, ready in however small kilobytes per second that we have here, because it's gonna lag. It always lags when we have something Instant Messenger Sama or Shanks or any of the 40 out of 10s that we do here on the channel, right? Like, if a certain character's in a chapter, it's a 40 out of 10 chapter. And it looks like every single time that happens, my stream dies. And so YouTube keeps telling me, Recon, your stream is dying. And I'm like, I know. Did you read the latest cliffhanger of the series? Did you read chapter 1149? Because if you did, you knew that this week would be a lagging stream. This week might even be a 144p Recon stream. But there's one thing that I will not allow to happen. And that is a hiatus to continue while we are in the middle of peak fiction. While we are in the middle of the universal language. While we are in the middle of that Go Raw Fire and Peak. Nixon 7, we're going back to New York. And today we are in there like swimwear for the one, the only, the best-selling manga in history. Nearly the best-selling comic of all time. There's a Superman trailer that keeps coming up every time I try to watch an NBA game. And I love me some Superman. But you know what I need more than Superman? That one! Somebody send me an instant message, bro. Well, let's play the Kim Possible theme. I'm ready, y'all. I'm ready for some peak. I am ready. Whoa! I look to the side. I look to the side, and all I see is blues. It looks like y'all. Every time, man. Every time for the top 30, y'all always show up, man. I appreciate y'all. For a potential, I've never done a top 30. I think I passed one to Brago like 10 years ago, where I gave him like my top 10 strongest supernovas or whatever it was. But I have not power skilled in the slightest besides that. So we'll definitely do that. Super Scorpio comes in with a 10 and says, "What one piece?" Appreciate you, Super Scorpio. Thank you so much for the 10 there. Also with the drums of Peak Fiction. Then Super Scorpio comes in with a 2 and says W Stream. Secret Turtle comes in with a 2 and says the One Piece is real. Johnny B. Good comes in with a 2 and says enjoy. Where's Johnny B. Bad at? I appreciate you. Thank you, Johnny B. Good. And then Joe Alt Delete comes in with a 2 and says you elevate our One Piece experience. No, y'all elevate my One Piece experience. I can promise you that. Peak, appreciate you, Joe Alt Delete. And then Super Scorpio comes in with a 2 and says Oxford tuition paid in full. New chapter, peak of the Oxford tuition. Straight up, yeah, we're about to come out of here all with degrees, you know what I'm saying? Then Super Scorpio also comes in with a 2 and says Nix in 7, that is facts. And then Lexi D Sunflower comes in with a W2000 and says people's dreams never end, that is a factual statement. factual statement. And then Lou Rock comes in with a 2 and says, instant messenger Sama hype. Let's go, y'all. Let's go. Let me know one more time. I should have asked this at the beginning of the stream. Let me know one more time if the audio is good. Strawberry Sunday says, first time catching a live. This feels so surreal. Greetings from Germany. Greetings, Strawberry Sunday. Appreciate you. All love to you over in Germany. I know we've had several individuals visit the nighttime streams from Germany, so I can only imagine how crazy that must be to finally be able to see one of these live. And so thank you, Strawberry Sunday, for stopping by. I truly, truly appreciate you. People's supers never end. That's right, quite. Audio Apu, appreciate y'all. Audio Brook Approved, thank you, Eddies. Here in Italy, emus, they hated tax for private houses. That's crazy, Monster Loose. That's insane. All right, let's look at the community leaderboard one more time, and then we'll read the chapter. So right now, In Due Time is number 1. Then we have Gabriel. It won't show me the final part of it, but it says Gabriel Nas with a ... Shout out to Dragon. After that, coming in number 2, and then Rice Lucas at number 3. So this is cool, man. Oh, snap, we got some more supers. Tech Zero comes in with a 5. Says Peak Piece is Real, W chapter. Can't wait, man. Appreciate you, Tech Zero. And then Super Scorpio 12 comes in with a 2. This is only legendary until someone proves it real. That's a fact. And we're about to prove it real. So excited. Jin Kazama, shout out to Tekken. Comes in and says, greetings from Malaysia. All love to you over in Malaysia. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Man, y'all are going ham. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for the enthusiasm on this wonderful morning. Then Unknown Artist, because membership for 28 months, has finished work an afternoon peak stream. Bless. Unknown Artist, thank you for 2 years and 4 months of being here as a member for the channel. I appreciate you so much for stopping by. And I hope you had a good day at work. All love to you. God bless. Then Raz comes in on 15, says, can you recall my goat? Random question, do you play COD Warzone? I love me some Warzone. I haven't played in a while because of Marvel Rivals. And even that I haven't played in a while because I haven't been home. But I love me some Warzone. If so, did you see the new shotgun they brought back for Season 4? I did not. What did they bring back? The models? The spaz? Did they bring back the spaz, bro? What did they bring back, Raz? Let me know. Let me know, Raz. I'm very curious. Very, very curious. And then Johnny B. Good comes in with a 2 and says, let's get to this 15. Oh, I was just about to go to the chapter. Appreciate you, Super Scorpio. We are now 1 away from the Super Chat goal already, and we haven't even started reading the chapter yet. Super Scorpio comes with a 2 and says, let's reach the goal before Coach begins. I mean, at this point, it looks like it's going to happen. Oh, man. That means I'm going to have to put together a top 30, bro. This is going to be so toxic. So toxic, man. Mainly for me, I'm going to need to train in some power scaling. I'm going to need some training. Oh, my God. Alejandro Solis finishes it off. We have completed the Super Chat goal. Less than 10 minutes of putting it up. I appreciate you. Goal has been achieved. All love. Alejandro Solis comes in with a 2, says, waking up to Reading Peak with Coach live is good. Alejandro Solis, thank you for that, and thank you for being the individual that put us over the mark, and we will definitely be doing a top 3 now. Or top 3. Well, definitely a top 3. A top 30. Top 30, no question. No question. Then my boy Sanji, because members for 21 months, says, peak! Love from Canada, Coach. All love to you, my boy Sanji. Shout out to Canada, man. Some of my favorite people are Canadians, and so all love to the individuals that reside over in Canada, man. Like I said, so many of the most beautiful people I've ever met reside over there. So all love to Canada. Thank you, my boy Sanji, for almost 2 years. I appreciate you. Then Super Scorpio comes in with the 2 and says, W Stream, let's get it. W Stream, seriously, W flipping Stream, man. Y'all are insane. Appreciate you so much for that. The Secret Turtle comes in with a 2 and says, add me on Rivals. Zolfarin, I'm a Wanda and C&D main. Yo, I have somebody who is a C&D main, but yo, a Wanda, we can definitely make that happen. Is that your name? Zolfarin on there? I'll have to write that down. Because, man, boy, we go ham on Marvel Rivals. I mean, I don't go ham. You know, I get carried. But it is such a fun game, and I absolutely adore Marvel Rivals. Definitely a game that's had its hooks in me this year. Thank you, Secret Turtle. We'll definitely keep that in mind for the next time I'm able to hop on that. But it is Elden Ring the Night Rain weekend, so we'll definitely be beyond that. I appreciate you. Raz comes in with the 30 and says, the classic Lockwood 300 double barrel? I think that thing's got to be OP in Warzone. I mean, Warzone already has extremely OP shotguns to begin with. And you're telling me now they're bringing back the Lockwood? Oh, that's going to be nuts. That thing's probably going to be crazy in multiplayer. That thing's going to be nuts in multiplayer. The Lockwood 300. Man, why didn't any of the boys tell me? I got to go talk to my squad later. The Lockwood is back? That's crazy. I appreciate you, Raz. Thank you so much for that. Dang, man, the flipping Lockwood, dude. Ashwin Murali comes with a 40 and says, Jersey and Santa Hat worthy from Jump, Infinity out of 10 from Jump. Dang, Ashwin Murali. I mean, literally the moment that I see where this chapter takes place, it's like, from then on, I can't wait, you know? Like, I don't know whether it's in the Holy Land or whether it's in Elbaf or it's somewhere else. I don't know, but I'm just excited. Then the Lonely Mage comes in, or is that the Lonely Mage? It doesn't show the other part of the name here. It just says the Lonely. Hold on, but it says you're number 3, so I could read your name over here. It says at Rice Lucas. And so I think that's the Lonely Mage though, just based on the first part of the name. It says Saddle Up Recon. Listen, we've been saddled up since I read Steel Ball Run. You know what I'm saying? Since I read Steel Ball Run like 13 years ago. We've been saddled up and ready. And Ichiro just keeps kicking me off of the thing, man. And so, oh man, so excited. So flipping excited. Appreciate you, Lonely Mage. Thank you so much for that. And then, Cassius09 comes in with intent and says, my brother, make sure you have your jersey on. Make sure you have your jersey on, your hat on, and make sure your floor is clean because this chapter is about to pop off. We got it ready, man. We got it ready. And now, we have caught up on the supers. Now, we have caught up on the memberships. And it is time for us to read some flippin' peak, man. Let me appreciate y'all so much for all of the love and support. Holy sweet mother of flag darts. That is absolutely insane. But it's time. It is time for us to read some peak. And we can read the title. So, let me double check and make sure. 80% for reading the title. So let's go, man. Oh my god. Bro, I'm already sweating, man. I'm already flipping sweating. One Piece. Chapter 1150. The ads. No. Okay. We're good. Is that it? What language is that? I don't know. One Piece chapter 1150. Domi Reversi. We're speaking another language. We've entered a new manga. What in the flying flag darts is Domi Reversi, bro? This man Emu's about to start speaking Latin, bro. Domi Reversi. What kind of name is that for a flipping chapter title? Domi Reversi is insane. Have we ever had a chapter title like this? Chapter 1150, Domi Reversi. I'm kind of scared to say it. Can I even say something like that? I'm afraid I'm gonna, like, Emu's gonna pull up on me. You know what I'm saying? Domi Reversi. So here we have Yamato, Ulti, and Page 1, a.k.a. Pepe. Only Child Yamato in the Holy Nari Shrine Pilgrimage, Volume 34. Yasue's Sword is laid to rest at Enma Shrine in Hakumai. Pilgrimage complete. So the pilgrimage has been completed. Yasue's sword has been laid to rest. So does this mean this is the end of the cover story? Or will it continue into something after the pilgrimage? Similar to like how we finished Yuna's pilgrimage. And then like we saw a little bit after that. Maybe we might see a little bit more after that. But if this is it for this cover story, it's been great and wonderful. I obviously, being the massive Wano tard that I am, anytime I get to see these characters is always just something that really brings me joy, right? It brings me a lot of happiness. So it's been beautiful following the journey of having Ulti and Page 1, future members of our alliance. Of course, Yamato. Anytime I get to see Yamato, it's always a good time. So the cover story has been a lot of fun. And looking forward to the next time we get to see these characters, if this is it for this cover story. So, all love to my Wano squad. But it's time for whatever the Flagnard's Domi reverse is, bro. Oda's notes, I went to glaze... He's glazing someone? Glaze Teru's house. He's glazing Teru's house. Teru's house has got to be peak. For Golden Week, and had my fill in Hakodate. It was as delicious as it was fun. So, on a serious note, he went to somebody named Glaze Teru, their household, and it was for Golden Week, and it was delicious as it was fun. And that's exactly how I feel about it, the manga reading experience. Oh man, I'm scared, bro. Bro, if the first page in this shows the Holy Land, bro, I don't know how I'm gonna react, man. Obviously, it's gonna be hyped, but it's like I want to see Imu, you know. So it's like, I don't know, man. What are we gonna see, dude? This will be my last opportunity to know and to speculate on what the first page is going to bring us, man. Because that's going to tell the whole story, you know what I'm saying? Especially with how focused Elbaf has been. Elbaf has been so focused where we stay on one thing for the entire chapter. So it's like, what are we going to focus on? I don't know, man. What is about to happen? Here we go. Come on, man. We're still in Elbaf. That's all I needed to see. That's all I needed to see, man. Alright. Jordan Jersey's coming on. We're about to see an Emu masterclass. We're going to see Instant Messenger's masterclass, man. I'm ready, dude. And this one's free. You know how normally for a masterclass, they'll make you pay some type of money? Nah, son. This one's all free. Unless you pay $2.99 in the Shonen Jump app like I do. Now, unless it's that, then it's $3 for this masterclass. But if you're like many of the pirates that are out there, many of the individuals that are out there, and this is free, baby. You know what I'm saying? Here we go! The children! Think of the children! Thank God they're all right. Bar guy. Bluno? Bluno from the bar? Hold on. I think we're good. I think we're good there. You know, bro, it's gotta go on instantly, bro. Come on. It's Elbaf. It's Emu. Bar guy. My daddy was pushed down into the realm of the dead. That's Colin speaking, right? It is. What? Yasan fell? That mean lady did it. Watch out. The mean lady. If only you knew who you were talking to, bro. Dad. Mama. She's floating. You must have been scared. Let's get you away. Qui? What in the world happened? It had to be Instant Messenger Sama, bro. It had to be. It had to be. This might be the most excited I've ever seen for a character to get pwned in my entire life, but it's Emu. I can't help it. You know, I can't, bro. I can't, man. Yeah. What? Huh? Emu. Emu! Emu hits the Dragon 3-dot. Dragon confirmed bare minimum top 3. Now I know that all the top tiers in this series say ... It's a fact. Emu and apparently Dragon. So now we have gotten to the point where we can confirm Everyone who does the ... is instant top tier. Instant. Do we have to question those things? No. No, man. You hit us with the ... You are instant top. Look at this flipping thing. Bro, look at the Conquerors. It doesn't even look like Conquerors. It looks like it's just like the apocalypse is there. This is mayhem. And you see Conqueror streaks happening all over. The same way we have the ... It was Summers, thank you. It was Summers that did it. So Summers, it wasn't even Emu. It was Summers. Instant Messenger Summers looks to the side. Look at the Renegon eyes, bro. The flipping Renegon, bro. Then we go over. This is mayhem. The island is shaking. They passed out. They can't stand in his presence, bro. They can't stand in the presence of the dominion of flipping... Come on, dude. Bro, the giants and the kids are all passing out. They can't stand to be in Emu's presence. They're passing out. A massive Conqueror's blast. Just from the individual existing. They start passing out. Dorian Brogy. The Elder. Emu. My goodness. A spellbinding circle right off the bat. Zerm. What in the flip is that? What is he pulling out? Spellbinding circle. Wait, man. There's no way. Emu is rocking the Ulquiorra wings, dude. Holy flag. My iPad is breaking. Bro, straight up. Where is it? Where's the Ulquiorra panel, bro? Dude, straight up. The wings. Look at it, bro. He's got the trident and the tail. Bro, we have been thinking for so long. Does this man have some sort of devilish ability? It's right in front of our eyes. The wings, the tail, the trident. Instant messenger stuff right off the bat. The dude said this ain't time for playing games. This is it. Straight demon time. Straight. Dude. Right off the bat. Bro. The wings, dude. I can't get over the wing. Bro, straight Sephiroth. You can hear a one-winged angel playing in the background. And just see Emu descending, bro, with the wings. The two-winged angel. Sephiroth. You know, straight up, Safer Sephiroth style. He's gonna bring out a supernova, dude. I shan't permit a rebellion. Saying that while flowing majestically is absolutely insane. I can't get over the trident. So, Emu pulled the trident out of the spellbinding circle. Then we have the tail. I'm going to assume this is the tail that impaled Cobra and almost killed Sabo. So that really was just Emu's tale. This is crazy. I shan't permit a rebellion. Wah! Is this all your dream demons amount to, killing? Emu said, is that it? Is that all that you can possibly do? What am I paying you for? Why are you on my payroll if this is all you can do? Is this all your nightmares are capable of? Yeah, the nightmares took over the whole island. Yeah, the nightmares were what was doing the whole thing. Emu's like, what is this atrocity? Get the job done! Have you ever heard of job ain't finished? Emu's like, son! Go, do something. Something, Jude Killingham. Something. And this is a Jude Killingham who just, took over the entire island with his ability. And was going absolutely insane in regards to the nightmares actually, really devastating things. Emu's like, is that it? Why are you on my payroll? Why are you on my payroll? This has to be one of the most fire panels in all of One Piece. Bro, the wings, the trident. The fact that we had been talking about this for so many years, and it's confirmed is nuts. So I wonder what the ability is. No, not at all, my lord. There are still many nightmare fissures left open. These monsters were born from the nightmares of this island. They are creatures made from dreams, with no concept of death. I can revive them at any time. I just need to give the signal. This man is shook. Jim, bro, the Straw Hats are in the presence of the flipping king of the verse, bro. I can't believe this is happening, bro. This is nuts. Summers, shepherd those urchins. At once, my lord, this dude is groveling. Is that Summers? This man is groveling. I can't blame him. Yo, he did the Star Wars thing. At once, my lord. He's still alive. The one in the sky is the one from earlier, right? She's barely recognizable. Where are Luffy and the others now? Bro, if Luffy pops up in this chapter, that's it, man. I don't care. Well, now Luffy and Zoro and Sanji should be... They're with Hadri and his crew. This is the worst time they could have chosen to go to the realm of the dead. What are you doing, Robin? I can't just sit here and do nothing. It's unbearable. It is imperative that we establish a suitable authority, one capable of striking a proper... Oh, this is Emu talking. It is imperative that we establish a suitable authority, one capable of striking a proper ransom for those adolescents. It's just as you say, my lord. What do you want with a country that has no king? Gibbon, that was power. Oh, so Summers is still shook. He's still extremely shook from his battle with Gabon. Blue Ogre He's just flying there, menacingly. He was just flying in front of all the giants. It's the opposite. You know what this is? Do y'all remember the panel when it was Gear 5 Luffy against the 5 Godosei? Like one of the coolest double spreads in the entire series. It's that, but opposite. It's like 40 giants and 1 emu. Flying. Just flying there menacingly. Bro, the full government name is crazy. Blue Ogre Dory. Red Ogre Brogy. I command? Lelouch v. Britannia style? I command thee to claim dominion of this island. Henceforth, ye shall reign as the kings of Elbaf. I beg your pardon? Blue Ogre Dory. Red Ogre Brogy. I command... Lelouch v. Britannia commands you. I command thee to claim dominion of this island. Henceforth, ye shall reign as the kings of Elbaf. Yo, if whoever told that to me, I'd be like, hey, sir, yes, sir. as the kings of Elbaf. You're one of those gods knights. If only you knew. If only you knew. Hey, you. He grabbed Emu. This might be the greatest feat in the series. All this chaos is your fault. Dory and the rest of you guys run up ahead. You got it, Cap. Be careful, Brogy. I'm taking those kids back. How many of you are there? Listen, bro. Unfazed. Unfazed. Listen, Brogy. Go and meet with Mountain Beard Jarl. You shall take his head and raise it up high. Bro, look at this. Look at the book. The book. This is being balanced. The book opens. Oh, God. Don't tell me that book is like filled with a whole bunch of different things. Bro, Emu is nuts. Emu's in a giant's hand, and it's just like, it's just balancing a book. Like, yeah, the book opens, then proclaim. So hold on, let me go. Listen, Brogy, go and meet with the Mountain Beard Jarl. You shall take his head. You shall take his head and raise it up high. And then proclaim to the people of this island, we are the kings of Elf. Emu is speaking like a narrator. Literally speaking as a narrator. Like, bro, like he was just adding commentary to that. It's like, yeah, right, you will reign as kings. This would be the day that the individuals all the way back in the year 1206 would then become kings of Elbaf. And henceforth, you shall take his head and you shall raise it up high. And with all of that in mind, you will now reign as the kings of Elbaf. And you will proclaim, we are kings. We are kings. Emu's insane. Like, the nonchalantness, but also the I command you aspect of it. Something pops out of the book. That's crazy talk. This is our homeland. You don't call the shots here. Is that a double-barreled shotgun? The Lockwood that old brother brought up in the super chat? Where did that thing come from? From the book! Is it like Luffy with the Gear 5? Pulling the goggles out of the afro? Oh my god. Dude. Bro, the final battle between Emu and Luffy, it's going to be chaos. They can both bring things out at will. He summoned a shotgun out of the book. And out of the book came a double-barreled shotgun. A sword. Emu pierces. Emu nonchalantly pierces. Oh, it's a sword and a knife. A knife and a shotgun. So it's the shotgun first, the knife or a sword after, grabs the knife, stabs right here, and then it would be intolerable to leave this matter unsettled. Aims the This is nuts. What am I looking at, bro? Brings the shotgun and the knife out of thin air, uses it in one hand, takes out the shotty, and shoots. His armor's gone. Now accept my ungod. Get out of town, bro. Now accept my
ungodly power. Dude. The captain's arm. What? Chief. It can't be the chief as tough as nails. I won't forgive that woman. Thou shalt cast aside. Thou shalt is insane. Thou shalt cast aside thy lifespan for a body unyielding to death. Under Mu's dominion, thou shalt be granted unprecedented strength. And here comes the spellbinding circle again. No longer shalt thou be bound by reason nor by common sense, becoming... What is he flying? What is going on in One Piece, bro? What is going on? Getting on demon time, becoming a demon is truly the pinnacle of existence. So you have the pinnacle of darkness with Luffy, who's the pinnacle of the light. Dog, the final saga is gonna be insane. The final arc. Oh, you know what all this is getting towards, dude? What is going on? Thou shalt cast aside thy lifespan is crazy, bro. For a body unyielding to death, does that mean immortality? Under Mu's dominion, thou shalt be granted unprecedented strength, no longer bound by reason or common sense. The spellbinding circle now goes under Brogy here. A choral, how do you see this? A choral demonic contract. A demon. What's she trying to do now? He's sinking. It's still a pirate manga. It's still a pirate manga. Dudes are sinking. Pirates are sinking. Emu's like, yo, we may be in the midst of all of this chaos. There may be supernatural stuff up the wazoo, but people are still gonna get wrecked by sinking because by the flag guards, it is a pirate manga. The brother's sinking! Sinking! Sinking into the flipping flames! These are the craziest abilities in all of One Piece, bro. And it's not even close. The fight, is it going down to Dante's Inferno? Are we gonna, the next time we're gonna see the brothers, gonna be in hell, bro? What is going on, bro? I'm sinking. Domi Reversi, and there's the title of the chapter. Kanji reads as Black Dominion Reversion. Domi Reversi. What in the flying flagnards is going on, bro? That has to be one of the rawest attack names, by the way. Black Dominion Reversion. Domi Reversi. The dude sinks. Now he's on his side. Boss. Ah! Wait! Now he's upside down. And he comes out. He's got a fang. Emu really meant everything he said. Dipped You know what it is to dip someone into the spellbinding circle? Like if you were concocting something and they come out of it in Resurrection Bleach style with wings, horns, and an axe that's way bigger than the last axe. Bro. The game has changed. Emu can literally brainwash people and turn them over into his side and make them even stronger than before. Dude, the man is holding the axe with half of his arm severed. His arm is not put together and he's still holding the axe. He really turned into a demon. He's even bigger now. What happened to you, Captain Brogy? How many legs does he have? Is he like Saturn, or does he have a normal amount of legs? His face is scary. Give the chief back. Chief Brogy would never turn on his comrades. This is definitely the worst type of thing you could ever do to Warrior Belvath, right? A warrior's pride. Ga ba 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 ba. I feel like I can do anything. This is exhilarating. Literally the concept of selling your soul. Except Emu is taking that, and by association One Piece is taking that, and utilizing that idea that when one does that, you know, everybody, you get all of your fame and your riches and all of that. That concept that we've seen throughout so many different stories, and takes that into a literal thing of power. But also, Emu doesn't even need someone to accept this contract. He just hands it out to anyone whom Emu sees fit, whom Mu seems fit, deems fit. He took out Boss Dory. Gag. Dory and Brogy? Let's go kill Yorl. Come on, you bastards. Hold on, what are you saying, Chief Dory? This is nuts. So, what we're looking at in the endgame of One Piece is an individual who forces people to join his side and makes them stronger against a person who made people naturally gravitate towards him. And that, as Mihawk says, is the world's most dangerous power. And now we're seeing that literally through both sides. Now we're seeing how Luffy and Emu are truly being set up as, you know, one counterpart for the other. So with the final antagonist in the series, with Luffy and Blackbeard, now with Luffy and Emu, we are clearly seeing the parallels that are going to keep their destinies intertwined, while also making sure that these are going to be the things that differentiate them forever. An Emu who forces individuals to obey him and obey the things that he's going to do, and then a Luffy who does not force anyone to do anything and instead goes for freedom, right? And wants everyone to wants to help everybody else, right? And in turn,
while he's going chasing after his dream and chasing after his goal, other individuals naturally gravitate towards him. So we have somebody who has people who naturally gravitate towards him, and somebody who forces that upon people. And I think that is such an interesting thing to explore within a series about where so many arcs are about kings and emperors and individuals who conquer, some based on fears, some based on being cowards in the background but using somebody else to carry out that fear. So many different things. But then you have someone who literally has the most dangerous abilities in the world and stays behind, hidden in the darkness, right? Where even no one even knows this person exists. Insane. Absolutely insane. Hold on, what are you saying? Chief Dory, what about rescuing the kids? You can't take something like that back. We've got to stop these two. Let's go kill Yorl. Come on, you bastards. Chiefs! Everyone's being turned. They're all being dipped. Is it because they were standing between these two? Maybe in any case, we've got to go. Yeah! Oh, now it's a real nightmare. Now it's a real nightmare. You've got the nightmare in the back. And then you have the giants who do not want to do this. Tridents, wings, stronger than before. This is the true power of Elbaf. It is not without merit. This nation shall not be laid to waste. It is to be ruled. Emu! Let us bear witness to how they serve in the crucible of war. Lord Yorl, you have to run away. Chief Dorian Brog, you're acting strange. Run away. Warriors do not know the meaning of the word run. This arc just changed. Completely. Now there's an emotional crux and core where Emu is going to force the warriors who pride themselves so much on A, not running away, on B, not turning on their comrades, on this warriors mentality. And now we're going to have those very same individuals have to face off against their own kind. And as much as they love Elbaf, want to preserve their history, we saw what they just went through. Now I understand why Oda had to give us that entire section dedicated to the Holy Knights wanting to stop everything and anything that had to do with preserving their history and all of those documents and texts that are crucial to their culture. That wasn't just because, yes, that is what Emu and them want to do, is get rid of all of that, right? But it's also to show us the importance of what all of that means to the people within Elbaf. Elbaf, the idea, the island, the concept, the warriors, the people, that is so important to everyone on this island. And now those very same people are going to have to face their people. Now we're going to see individuals who are brainwashed, literally brainwashed, and made stronger because of it, have to face off against their own warriors, their own people, and there's nothing they can do about it. It is insane. But there's so many incredible possibilities for emotional storytelling here that I'm just so excited. I can't wait to see what happens. I can't wait to see how we deal with the Dory and Brogy stuff. I can't wait to see how Emu continues to see this play out, because now we're seeing this chapter completely changed, by the way. The way that I thought the series was going to go from this point forward. Because I was, for a very long time, especially after chapter 908, when we first saw Emu, I didn't know whether Oda wanted to go for the Emu route or the Blackbeard route as, like, the final stuff, right? Like, what he really wants the final battle to be. What this chapter is showing me is that it doesn't really matter who ends up being the final boss, because both of them have been built up so well. One in terms of carrying thousands upon thousands of years of history of doing this to humanity, the constant resets, the constant everyone who has failed against this individual, and the way they just stay in the darkness in a final, true, like, a good versus evil battle in a Luffy versus Emu, that is going to be so incredibly fascinating. While at the same time, we could also leave a Luffy versus Blackbeard potential pirate versus pirate final battle as well. And I feel that wholeheartedly now, even more so than ever before. Because what this has opened up is that no matter what route Oda chooses, we are looking at two things that perfectly represent One Piece. We are looking at the king, the king who has ruled over all of these seas for so many years. The king who has ruled over the world of One Piece, utilizing illogical means. In the same way that Luffy uses his Toon Force, we now have somebody who has like the evil version of that. Bring out shotguns, knives, the spellbinding circle, being able to dip people into the spellbinding circle, and they come out doing your bidding. Do you know how OP that is? And just the nonchalant way that Emu goes about things. You know what this tells me, by the way? You saw everything Emu did in this chapter. Craziest stuff we've ever seen. Emu was on his knees at the sight, at the potential sighting of Joy Boy's hockey. Joy Boy was out of this world. Joy Boy was him. Joy Boy was that guy. You're telling me someone who can literally dip others into the spellbinding circle, down into the depths of Dante's Inferno, they come back out stronger creatures. This is probably what happened to Saturn. This is probably what happened to all these individuals, right? How they potentially got some of their abilities. We're getting into maybe some of the origins of fruits themselves. But all of these things happened. And even with all of that, Joy Boy almost won. He was shaking. And Luffy's going to get to that point. So, Emu, the devil abilities have officially been confirmed, and I think that this is the best course of action for going back to chapter 1085, when Sabo said this literally looks like hell up here. When you think about the Gorosei and you think about Emu, it makes perfect sense. That's exactly what it is. And I think that is so interesting to have individuals known as the Holy Knights serving under a literal representation of not just devils, but also the concept and idea of that, which to me fascinates me to no end. It really does, and we've seen Oda do this through the course of all of One Piece, where he Odifies things that have been prevalent throughout human history, or even in our recent history, and fairy tales and all of that. But to go this deep into something that is reflected within so many different, not just religions, but within what feels like a part of our collective interest, right? On whether these things are real or not, whether these things have any say over what we do or what we don't do, and in an arc about dreams, in an arc about warriors, in an arc about preserving one's history while also moving forward into the future. What better villain to show up than Emu? What better? What better, man? I said last week's chapter was one of my favorite chapters of the year. This week's chapter completely changed everything. Completely. The mural changed everything, and this chapter changed everything. Because this chapter just changed what I thought was possible in One Piece. This chapter just changed what I believe we're going to be seeing in the Void Century. The Void Century is actually much darker than I actually initially anticipated. I think we're going to see some really crazy stuff now in the Void Century. Like some really, really crazy stuff. Some extremely dark stuff. So, I'm really just at a loss for words as to how Emu has been handled. How brilliantly this character has been executed since chapter 906 in the introduction. This character changed the course of the series. This is unprecedented. Unprecedented, man. Wow. Okay. Let's read some of these supers because I need y'all. I need y'all badly. Oh, what a chapter. What a chapter. The game has been changed. I'm still in shock as to what I just read. The I command thee. Like, this chapter did so much for my love for Emu's character, my love for the concept of Emu's character. Well, at the same time, what is that line that Emu said in this chapter? Where is it at? Here it is. No longer shalt thou be bound by reason nor by common sense. And I think that's so fascinating that Emu considers that to be the pinnacle of existence. Because that's exactly what Gear 5 is. The most ridiculous ability. The thing that is not bound by the rules of reality. The thing that is not bound by the restrictions that are normally placed on a person. Which must be why Emu fears that so much. It is the only thing that could fight something like this. What happened in the Void Century, bro? Like, what happened? Gear -5, exactly, Sir Raven. Exactly, Luffy wants to rule over nobody. JD Double Dubs. Man, dude. Unreal. Unreal. So that's the end of the chapter. Let's get into the supers. What a chapter, man. What a chapter. Wow. Wow. Let's see. Akash Panda comes in with a 2 and says, Emu just pulled a shotgun out of a 5-leaf grimoire. Ah, hold on. Let me look up to that. So the grimoire thing definitely makes sense. Oh man, dude, that reminds me of a Nier Replicant. Have you guys ever played Nier? Nier Replicant with the grimoire book and the sacred texts. Oh man, that makes me want to replay that game now. So comes out of the grimoire, and it brings out the knife and the double-barreled shotgun. That makes a lot of sense, Akash Panda. Thank you actually for pointing that out. That is very, very fascinating. Oh, it was a joke? Oh, I was about to say, I thought you were being real. I was about to say that actually makes a lot of sense. You know, thinking back to how that stuff happened in especially in Nier. No, you're good. You're good, Akash Panda. You're good. No worries. It was my fault. It was my fault. Oh, Black Clover reference. I gotcha. Thank you, Akash Panda, by the way. Raz comes in with a 6 and says, Lockwood 300 is crazy. Bro, came in with a Lockwood. Shoddy. And the thing is about that ability is that, Insomniac, you're insane. I just saw the super. The thing is about this, right, is you think about what Emu did. Emu shot off Brogy's entire arm from right here. Disattached this entire thing from here to here. And this very same individual was now able to grasp and grab the axe of that size to be able to then come right down and carry it. that shows something that goes beyond logic. That goes something that goes beyond common sense, the same way that Emu was talking about. You know how crazy that is to have that entire thing disattached? Like, man. So let me read Insomniac Superhero, and then we'll get to the ones here. Insomniac comes up with a 50 and says, which is just crazy, by the way. Thank you, Insomniac, for the 50. Could Emu's powers be game-based? And the demon motif is a misdirect. It seems like Emu forces himself to speak a certain way to stay in character, like an RPG, because he thinks this is how gods speak. Other oldies, Toki, Joy Boy don't speak like Emu. Ah, that's interesting. Well, Emu's powers being game-based would make Emu's abilities be my favorite thing ever. Period. It would just make it be my favorite thing ever. Ever. Because of how much I love video games. But do you know how cool that would be? So, Emu is speaking a way... but you know what it also could mean, Insomniac? Because you're absolutely right. That very well could be the case. And it could be a misdirection. But what I also think is fascinating is just how is how the concept and idea of not just an RPG, because One Piece is in my honest estimation, going through the series and comparing it to all of the other JRPGs that I played, it follows the very exact same formula, and we all know what happens at the end of JRPGs, right? So it's always felt like a massive video game, especially whenever there's so many things that you could call back to, like Final Fantasy VI or Zelda, right, where it's just all over the place. But you've really broken my mind with this potential video game ability thing. Because it kicks back to Morena from Hunter x Hunter, who also has a video game-like ability that is able to elevate everyone around her. And I think that's so incredibly interesting considering what she represents in that series and what Emu represents in this series. So if Emu were to have a game-esque ability... But the thing is, in regards to the Thou and all of that, I feel like that actually may be showing that what we're looking at with Saint Nerona Emu is actually maybe an individual who is either taking inspiration from the first world, because maybe they spoke that way in the first world, or it literally comes from the first world and has been living from that amount of time until now. And so, I don't know, man. But the idea that the individual speaks in this way because of the way that you're alluding to is so incredibly interesting to me. And if that is the case, like I said, it's going to end up being my favorite ability in the entire series. It's going to end up being my favorite ability ever. No question. No question. Exactly, JD Double Dubs. It's like, with how silly Oda makes most of his villains, Emu being a role player, role-playing as this individual, knowing that they potentially had no place in doing such a thing beforehand, before getting all this craziness. I wonder how Emu stepped into all these abilities. I just do. I wonder how these abilities came to be. I wonder how Emu stepped into this realm, right? Was Emu the first to discover this? I just, it's so fascinating, man. But thank you, Insomniac. I appreciate you so much. This is nuts. Nuts, man. Thank you, Raz, by the way, once again, for the Lockwood 300 thing. Lonely Mage comes in with a 5, says 20 kings, and nobody sits in that throne. Emu says, yo, I call shotgun, bro. Emu's like, brother, I'm calling shotgun. Literally. 20 kings like, man, ain't nobody sitting on that thing. Emu's like, get up on my seat. I'm calling shotgun, baby. We're staying in the front seat, and we're headed out. You know what I'm saying? That's a great comment. Thank you, Lonely Mage. I appreciate you. It's so real. JD Double Dubs comes with a 5 and says,
Common devils have to trick others into forming contracts. Emu is not common. Emu gets whatever they want. And I think that's where the godly motif comes in. Because everything else that Emu does is involved with the devilish type of motif. But I think the one thing that truly feels godly about Emu, where you then see the split in how the character is to be perceived, is that the I command thee, and all of those ideas is so interesting to me. Like how do we have a character that is like the embodiment of like Insomniac was talking about, what someone would perceive a god to act like, and yet does everything that's the opposite. Says one thing, but yet the actions say otherwise. It's fascinating, man. To be quite honest with you, it is very devilish now that I think about it. Because the idea of a devil is someone who wants to be a god but can't, right? And because of that is cast down. So if that's the case, then Emu being a role player in that way, stepping into the role of a god, then that takes it into an entirely different realm of super fascinating stuff to explore. But you're right, JD Double Dubs. Like, Emu does get whatever they want. 110%. And we see why in this chapter. So interesting, man. So interesting. Thank you, JD Double Dubs. I can't believe what's going on right now. Praetorius comes in with the 2 and says, Emu turning Elbaffer to Thriller Bark Part 2, Rook Piece. Straight up. Straight up. Yo, can Thriller Bark be any more important than it is at this current moment? It is insanely important. And it continues to get more important as the series progresses. Fascinating stuff, man. Very, very fascinating stuff. Like straight up Thriller Bark Part 2. And it's insane. What is going on in One Piece, bro? Akash Panda comes in with a 5. Says, I feel like I can do anything I want. This is exhilarating. It's very similar to Luffy's dog when he went Gear 5. Emu's giving other people evil Gear 5. Yes! Akash Panda, fantastic comment. That's literally what it is. Let me go back to what Dorian Broggie says. So we go back to when Emu speaks. The pinnacle of existence. By becoming a demon, no longer shalt thou be bound by reason nor by common sense. Then we go over to... Where is it? I feel like I can do anything. This is exhilarating. Bar for bar. Bar for bar. Evil Gear 5. Bro, we're going to have evil, the evil version of Toon World versus the good version of Toon World. And that's going to be peak. Oh, man, Toon Force versus Toon Force for the final battle. Inject it into my veins. Inject it into my veins. Inject it. Insane. Thank you, Akash Panda. Behanor comes over the 25 and says, main character of One Piece is basically a Looney Tunes character, and the main villain is Satan himself. / herself. Yeah, for real, right? It actually reminds me of how Powerpuff Girls presented the idea of such a character, right? Where it was like the perfect middle between a man and a woman. So maybe that is why Oda decided to introduce Emu as a character that's inside of a woman's body. And we may actually not know maybe until the Void Century what Emu actually is, right? But I think that goes against the entire purpose of what Emu represents, which is someone that goes over all boundaries, right? An individual who may even just overstep in the mind of like that godly realm, quote unquote, as someone who surpasses the boundary. I think that'd be a really interesting thing to explore as well. The final battle is going to be insane. Absolutely. Like I was just saying, the Looney Tunes stuff is going to be nuts. It is going to be absolutely nuts. And I think the coolest thing about the final battle is how it's going to break and bend reality literally. Like, you're going to have a situation where these characters, where Luffy and Emu, are going to be able to bring things out of thin air, while at the same time being able to... Emu, yeah, that is a good point about the top music thing, where you have two characters that can bend and break as they feel in completely different ways.
and it's just going to cause the final battle to be very Gridlock-on, both in a large scale sense and in a small scale sense. Luffy versus Emu is going to be one of the best fights ever, man. Just based off concept alone. Just on concept alone. Like, we could be looking at a very heavy, like Undertale final boss type of thing, with that final battle with Luffy versus Emu, which I think is gonna be really interesting. Maybe even literally as well, with what could potentially happen between Luffy and Emu as characters. Akash Panda comes in with a 2 and says, we went from Elbaf arc to the Hellbaf arc. That's a great call. That's a great call. That's a great call. As a matter of fact, from this point forward, that's exactly what it is. Until Emu goes back to the Holy Land. It just look at that. The Holy Land, governed by someone who is anything but. You know what I'm saying? Like that is so One Piece to me. The Hellbath arc. Thank you, Akash Panda, for the 2. Cheers, Baba, then comes in with a 2 and says, so happy to be a part of this peak with you all. Appreciate you. Cheers, Baba. Thank you so much for stopping by and being a part of this crazy chapter with us. Just absolutely nuts. Akash Panda comes in with the 2. This is last page. Demon Mom with a frying pan's gonna solo. I missed it. Let me see in the back. Oh my god, I see it. With the wings. Oh, man. Big Mom has nothing on this character. This is Big Mom's replacement. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this is crazy. Just look at the thing in the back, bro. Could you imagine that thing in the back of the final page of this chapter saying "Wedding Cakey"? That's terrifying. The real Big Mom is constantly screaming "Wedding Cake." Makes me want to scream. Imagine this thing in the background, this nightmare in the background, talking about some wedding cake. Bro, I'd be terrified, man. That's a nightmare for real, dude. Thank you, Akash, man. Appreciate you for the 2. Lexi D. Sunflower comes in with a 2,000. So are the Strats even ready for this power? No. Absolutely not. We're not ready for this power. As a matter of fact, I want to say that this might... the fact that I'm answering it in that way makes me want to say that I am leaning towards Emu final battle, because we can't possibly deal with this right now. We couldn't even deal with Gunko. We couldn't even deal with Gunko. I don't know how high Gunko is up the chain. We couldn't even deal with Gunko. I mean, obviously, none of the major 3 Straw Hats were there. But no one else could even deal with Gunko. Imagine what it would have been like dealing with Emu. But we're going to get a taste of that. When Luffy, Loki, and Zoro make it back up there, we're going to get a taste of Luffy versus Emu. Oh. That's going to be peak, man. That's going to be insanely peak. Wow. We aren't ready. We just aren't. The only one who could possibly, as we saw with Luffy back in Egghead, Zoro could box the Godose. I had no doubt that Sanji could hold his own as well. And Luffy, we already saw the man was turning Saturn into pizzas. But Emu's a different story, man. Look at what Emu's doing this chapter. Thank you, Lexi D. Salty Steve comes in with a 10 and says, Luffy, Loki, Zoro, and Sanji versus Giant Demon Army and Emu. I'm here for it, bro. The moment we get the boys pulling up, because you know it's going to be Loki. Loki's going to be the one to go up against all this entire army here. While Luffy... Yeah! That's going to be so beautiful! Loki against these all of his, the other individuals in Elbaf who have now turned potentially right next to like Zoro and oh my god, bro. I'm telling you right now, dude, if we get any type of panel of like Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji versus Emu, or Luffy and Zoro versus Emu, or Luffy versus Emu, and this isn't even Emu. This is like a proxy for Emu. It's gonna break everything for me. That's it, man. Like, it's gonna be like Roof Piece all over again. Those chapters are gonna be like Roof Piece all over again, dude. Are you kidding me? Zoro boxing with Emu, Luffy boxing with Emu, Sanji boxing with Emu. Let's see, man. I need it. I need it. You need it. We all need it. We all need it. We all absolutely need it. Akash Panda that comes in with a 2 says, please read Luffy's final dialogue in chapter 1124. Let's go do that. Let me pull it up here. Final dialogue in chapter 1124. No way. Luffy's final line while... Bro, Luffy's final line is, I don't care if you guys end up as my enemies. You know it's gonna be me in the end. What is going... What? I don't care if you guys end up as my enemies. You know it's gonna be me in the end. Dude. That's so crazy. Like, who would have thought that this would be the situation we would be in back in chapter 1124? Thank you for sharing that, Akash Panda. That is nuts. What? What? That's great. Thank you, Akash Panda. JD Double Dubs comes with the 2 and says, Emu's giving the Giants back their horns, the horns they lost. Like oars. Yes. True that, JD Double Dubs. Then that makes me question JD Double Dubs. I want to know what the Giants originally looked like back in the day and how things changed over time. Because I want to know what changed with their DNA, right? What changed with what changed in the Giants' DNA that no longer caused this? I'm curious. Thank you, JD Double Dubs. Riley Vods comes with the 10 says, actually insane chapter. Hope you're enjoying it. Yo, that was an amazing time. I just can't believe this is all happening right now. like a whole week I spent thinking about what was going to happen in this chapter. Never in a million years did I ever think that Emu was going to be doing all of this, bro. Like, that's nuts. That's actually nuts, man. Emu may be a he or a she, but we know Oda's him. That's facts. Thank you, Lexi D. Sunflower. Appreciate you for the 5,000 there. B Muddy comes with a 120 and says, B Muddy 120 comes with a 5 and says, Go Con, gonna send you world changing message in a few weeks. God, universe predestined us to world love and peace. Spirit story, universal God's plan. Amen, brother. Appreciate you, B Muddy. Thank you so much for that. AO Chrome comes in with a 5. Shout out to my boy Josh. This man Ansem is summoning Heartless Man's is Maximilian Pegasus, bro. He's literally Pegasus, man. Literally Pegasus. We're about to see Thousand Eyes Restrict. We're gonna see Relinquished. We're gonna see flipping Toon Blue Eyes and Toon Dark Magician, and that means something to me as a Toon World main in Yu-Gi-Oh. So, like I said, I'm down. I can't wait to see more Toon World shenanigans from both Luffy and Emu. But the Ansem thing that's some powerful stuff, bro. I appreciate you for that. That's a great thing. As a matter of fact, the way that Xehanort is able to transition from body to body may very well be what Emu is doing here as well. The ability to create the Heartless, the ability to create the Nobodies, right? And the idea of Kingdom Hearts. Ooh, you're cooking, Josh. You're cooking. That's good. Shout out to Ansem, man. Shout out to Ansem. Yo, so who's the master of masters? Is it Emu? Is Emu mom? Emu's the master of masters, man. Appreciate you, Josh. I appreciate you, brother. Then Josh Pointer comes in with a 10 and says, Brogy said, I feel like I can do anything. Same thing Lucas said in Gear 5. If Emu's the devil version of Nika, there's a dark version of Nika, and Emu being the sea devil makes sense for the parallel. Yes. If Emu is... then this would have to go into... If that's the case, Josh Pointer, something happened with Emu 800 years ago that then caused the contract... to the fruits that would go out into the world, being that they can no longer swim. And because if Emu is truly the sea devil, then it would have to go into that. It would have to go into the idea of why these individuals can't swim. So, man, dude. You just blew my mind with that. Because the Sea Devil idea is something, of course, that we talked about before, but with this chapter, it sort of changes the way that I initially thought of that, right? Man, that's a great call. That is a great call, Josh Pointer. Because I definitely do think that is going to lead us into the origin of fruits. And why it is that people can't swim. And why it is that Emu, also being able to give these abilities to other individuals, is able to do so in a different type of way than fruits. Great comment, Josh Pointer. Great comment. I gotta think about that. Menacing Baseline comes in with a 6 and says, hey, King, love the content, appreciate you. Emu's power feels game-like when Dora and Bruggy flank the Giants, it looked like a board game move to flip them. Yeah. And going back into what was being stated earlier by Insomniac, I would be so down for it being a game ability. Oh, man, don't let me get that. If Emu has a game-like ability, like I said in the earlier super chat, don't let me get that. That's my favorite ability in the series. It's not even going to be close. It's not even going to be close, bro. Do you know how cool that is going to be? That is going to be goated. It is going to be peak. It is going to be so incredibly peak. Oh, man. Could you imagine? Dude, that would mean that there's an infinite amount of possibilities for what could potentially happen in the finale. If we has a game-like ability, and it going through that book will allow Emu to be able to go through multiple different things throughout all these years of history. Insomniac then follows it up with a 10 and says, as a follow-up to my last chat, one of the abilities Emu uses in this chapter is a coral. Corals are a fictional alien race that sometimes appear in fantasy games like D&D. Ooh, that's a cook. That is a cook. So, I'm not too familiar. I know, obviously, of D&D. It's something that I truly appreciate, especially as a thing that brings out the best in a lot of writers, as well as in bringing out like their creativity and things of that nature. I've just never actively participated in a session of D&D, but obviously I know of it. I know Baldur's Gate, those types of things. I know of the world, but I've never heard of Coral. So they're a fictional alien race that appears in games like that, and that changes everything. A fictional alien race going back into what we were talking about back when the mural chapter dropped on the individuals on the moon and what we could potentially find out when we get into the Void Century about what actually started the origin of humanity in the One Piece verse. We could be cooking here with that fictional alien race thing. We really could. Especially in context with what happened in this week's chapter. Fascinating stuff, Insomniac. Thank you for another great comment. I did not know. So if that's the case, I'm down for the game ability, like I said, man. If those powers are truly D&D based on that book, that grimoire, oh man, dude, let's flipping go. Let's flipping go, bro. JP Legend comes with a 5 and says, makes sense. The WG wants the giants. With this power of multiplying, with this power, the giants seem more scary. Loki killed Demon Herald. So, shout out to JP Legend, by the way. The power of multiplying is so true, especially with the giants. Like JP Legend, when we look back at Punk Hazard, we look back at what the time skip has been leading us toward up until this point, is how valuable the giants are to the WG. In particular, they wanted to create their own giants. For Emu to go out and do this, you're able to see the full potential, just like it says in the end of the chapter, of why these people were feared, of why the giants were so feared. And I'm even more curious as to what truly happened in the Void Century with the giants, and why it is that the mural is here of all places. And then Loki killing Demon Herald, that very well may be what happened. That's a great call. Herald being turned was then forced Loki to do what he didn't want to do, which was kill him, and then of course he became vilified for that. That would be such a One Piece thing to do. And now he's going to be faced with the exact same situation at hand, but with Dory, Brogy, and the rest of the giants. Oh, how emotional would that be? That would imply we're about to get Loki's backstory soon, which I'm so down for. Bro, getting Emu content and Rock's content in the same volume's worth of chapters would be peak fiction. And we know we're going to get Rock stuff in the Loki flashback because Rock's is Loki Shanks. So, oh man, that's going to be flipping. Great comment, JP Legend. Appreciate you. B-Muddy120 comes in with a 10 and says, bro, yes, God is the universe and all things connected. My pantheist little brother, religion rant. God is telling us afterlife truth and heaven and hell don't exist with fate. We live in God's dream, the One Piece chapter, and I think this continues into something else. So we'll leave that for now. Thank you, B-Muddy. Appreciate you so much for that. Living in God's dream, you know. That makes me think of what we could potentially be living in regards to what's currently happening with Emu. Is this Emu's dream? Has the past 900 years been Emu's dream? His dream world? Not a dream in a literal sense. I mean, back 800 years ago, Emu had a dream, set out to accomplish that dream, accomplished the dream, and now we're living in that dream world. I wonder if we could explore the consequences of somebody with bad intentions having a dream. That would be cool to explore. And your comment just made me think of that. Thank you, B-Muddy. I appreciate you. Michael Mickles comes in with a 10 and says, shout out to Michael Mickles, by the way. My wife wakes me up at an ungodly hour just to find you behind my back reacting. Yo, Michael Mickles, you had me rolling. And I mean laughing super, super hard when I read your comment on the scheduled post where you were like, yo, this isn't the King Recon I know. That joke, bro, I was laughing so hard. I appreciate you so much for that comment, obviously for the super as well. But what a chapter. I think we know why Loki had to kill the king and his men. Yes, it looks like, just like JP Legend was talking about, that appears to be why that happened. Great reaction as always, King. Thanks. No, I appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for being here at 10:07 in the morning. Man, dude. Goodness gracious. Akash Panda comes in with a 2 and says, Emu could make any ally an enemy in the final war. That brings up potential scenarios. Ooh. Oh, man. Bro, it's gonna be like when Bleach comes back and we have to explore a similar idea. I'm not ready, man. I'm already not ready in this arc. But imagine with the characters that I'm like really, really connected to. Yeah, true, Akash Panda. That's a good point. That's a good point. We already have Blackbeard representing someone bad having a dream. That's a good point. So yeah, maybe both Emu and Blackbeard represent that, but you're right. I think Blackbeard definitely represents that to a T. That's a fantastic point. How could I forget my boy Blackbeard? We were just talking about him. But no, you're spitting Akash Panda in regards to the any ally and enemy in the final war. Like that could bring up some really emotional scenarios and situations because the whole world is going to be enveloped in that conflict, right? And if anyone could get turned into an enemy, there's going to be some really, really heartbreaking and heart-wrenching stuff. Because what else than to stop your opposition by making them fight the individuals they care for deeply, right? Like that's some tough stuff. That's some tough stuff. Yo, Muddy, I just noticed you have a Super Mario RPG profile picture. Shout out to that game. Comes with a 5. It says, time to wake up. Your own family can be evil. People such devils. My evil religious cousins. Talk to mom. Spirit story. God-given destiny is universal salvation. And I think this continues into another comment here. Can I get connected to that? Yo, Muddy coming in with some emu dialogue here, yo. I appreciate you, B Muddy. Thank you so much for the 5 there. Truly, truly appreciate you. Shidunura comes in with a 10 and says, could Ors and those like him be descendants of those who got changed by Emu in the Void Century? So you're saying that their lineage factor was like changed by Emu specifically in the Void Century? I think that's a really cool idea. Something that we could explore. And that's what I was talking about earlier in regards to what changed with the Giants, right? With time. Where they got it and then lost it. Yeah. I think so. I think you're onto something with that. Definitely onto something with that. Because if Emu maybe this isn't the first time Emu has done this. As a matter of fact, I would say this is not the first time Emu has done this. Man, no wonder the Giants were so feared if that's the case. Thank you, Shironora. But then it makes you think now about the Buccaneers. Why were the Buccaneers so feared? Nika and I'm going to assume one of them, either Nika or Joy Boy, was most certainly a Buccaneer at this point. But the difference between a Buccaneer and a Giant fascinates me as to why they really wanted to eliminate the Buccaneers specifically. Mike Ross comes in with a 7 and says, was Zoro proclaiming King of Hell and the Grim Reaper appearing? Do you think he actually becomes a demon himself? He can already summon Ashura. That's a great question. The Grim Reaper thing is so weird, right? I remember when that happened, it's like, what's going to be the payoff to this? Now we might actually see some payoff to that now that we're getting into this type of really supernatural stuff. So if that's the case, then we're going to take... Wait. You're right. If he can already do the Ashura, which is delving into that, then what else are we going to see Zoro do as we get into the end game? I don't think he becomes one himself, but I do think we see some other. That's actually fascinating because you're right. This chapter changes the possibilities of what could actually happen, right, with that. Very well. You know what? I'm not going to rule out the possibility. I was about to rule out the possibility. I'm not going to rule out the possibility. I'm actually not. Not anymore. Not anymore. It would be interesting, though. It would be super interesting if the gods of the verse, which is what One Piece is trying to say anyway, with the characters in the story, that the gods in the verse actually have like the devilish motif, and then for someone who proclaims himself King of Hell, It'd be interesting if Zoro actually has like an angelic ability, not like a super angelic ability, but it would be interesting if like someone like that to represent the differentiation between the characters. If you were to have instead of like a demon like thing in at the end of the series, if it could be something angelic, I think that would actually be super interesting to explore. Just separating the two and going with what One Piece has been saying so far, right? I think that would be a super interesting thing to explore. But we'll have to see. You might be right on that. You might actually be right on that. And then, like I said, after this chapter, no, I'm not gonna rule it out. Definitely not gonna rule it out. But thank you, Mike Ross. Appreciate you. B Muddy following it up here with the 10 says, my God-given destiny is to inherit Rude, my brother's will to make the world change. Absolutely. As you've told me before, I lost my brother's life and not paying with humanity anymore. Shane Rude, love you too, bro. Rick Rude, my dad. Yo, all love to you, B Muddy, man. Hope you are doing well. I remember whenever you told me that you lost your brother, and truly hope you're doing all right. I know that you told me you've been on this quest to make the world change, and all love to you, man. Seriously, appreciate you so much for the comment. Vortex with membership for 17 months. Shout out to Vortex, man. I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute, brother. Coach's chapter moves mountains and people. Literally moves mountains and people. Like, sweet mother of Flagnards, man. Vortex, you just like captured this chapter. It literally moves mountains and people. Like, literally moves mountains and people. So, I still can't believe what took place, bro. Like, I just had that final spread with Emu nonchalantly talking about us bearing witness to how the world is about to change and whether the giants will have some sort of role in the crucible of war as, like, the giants all come in. I mean, with wings. And, like, what is going on, man? This is actually insane. This is actually insane, man. JD Double Dubs comes with a 5 and says, Nika is both praised and feared, seen as a savior and a destroyer. What if Joy Boy and Emu are both Nika figures with the power to do anything? Nika's both praised and feared, seen as a savior and a destroyer. And what if Joy Boy and Emu are both Nika figures with the power to do anything? Oh, bro, you just opened up a whole can of worms with that, JD Double Dubs. Dude. What if Emu's Nika? I know that sounds silly, but give me a second. If there really have been 3, starting off in the first world with Nika, falls from grace. Then the next one, but then I don't know, bro. I don't know. But you're right. They both do have similar, like, the parallels are so crazy between the two, because you're right, they're both seen as saviors and destroyers in their own right. That is JD Double Dubs. You just opened up an entirely different can of worms, and there was already a like 50 can of worms that were destroying my brain. Dude. I just... Man, bro, because it's so true. It's so true. Man, I need the voice entries flashback so bad. So bad, especially for something like this. Bro, And once again, going back to, like I was talking about earlier, with why Elbaf was going into why the Giants wanted to preserve their history, and now we're seeing this. Going back to, I was wondering, why are we focusing so much on Nika being a savior and destroyer, and that being the thing that some people fear the most. And then you have Gunko. Bro, who does Gunko fear the most? Oh god. Yo, man, I don't know, bro. Yo, I don't know what's going on. Dude, my brain is like it. My brain is moving in a whole bunch of different scenarios, bro. I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. What, bro? Like legit? What? Yeah, seriously, it has been launched. When Guko said she feared Nika the Chimin Emu, that's the thing on Kosh Panda, like, we now have to bring that up as a potential, like, possibility now. JD Double Dubs, that is such a great comment, man. JD Double Dubs, before I continue reading the comments here, comes in with a 5 and says, Nika will prevail, of course they will, because whoever wins becomes Nika. Don Quixote Don Flamingo style. Bro, we choke, but imagine, right? Like, that is something that is so coveted. That is something... that is such a great comment. That's one of those comments that needs to be framed. It needs to be framed. Appreciate you, JD Double Dubs, man, for excellent comments. P-Money comes on the 5 says, why didn't the family tell me I'm Jesus reincarnated? Me and God sent family faded letters in the emails. God sparks the brain prophecy, 1994, my birth. And then it continues. Then D Kutch comes on the 5 and says, watch Luffy try... Thank you, by the way, B-Money, for the 5. Watch Luffy try to flip the demonized giants upside down, reverse to reversey, and immobilize them because their horns stuck in the ground. Would be the most thriller bar comedic moment ever. We need it. Because we still need some lightheartedness in the middle of this situation. I would be so down for something really silly like that. Please. Please. Luffy's just like, why don't we just stick their heads in the floor? And it works? That would be great. That would be great, man. I would love that. Thank you, D Kutch. Appreciate you for the 5. Then B Muddy follows it up here with the 5. It says, God will not allow any person to keep you from your destiny, Joel Osteen. It's my dream that Gokon, OPU Jobiers, Jonas, and the TL Revolution for Rick Rude. Yo, B Money, all love once again to your brother and for the supers, man. I truly, truly appreciate you. Thank you so much for that, and for your conquest and your quest to change the world, man. It's truly something beautiful. Josh comes in with the 2 and says, Dog, a Zoro betrayal would go crazy. A Zoro betrayal. Oh, that's what you were potentially thinking of whenever we were talking about the Zoro thing. You know, I don't think Zoro would ever betray. I really don't. But the only thing that would ever make Zoro betray the Straw Hats. Like, Zoro would never betray us. Zoro would never betray any of us. And that goes for any one of us. Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and the Straw Hats. But Zoro being dipped into the pool? Could you imagine that? Zoro gets dipped into the pool? And bro, who's stopping that? Zoro that's stronger than he already is? Zoro that's stronger than he already is gets dipped into the pool, comes out. You know how insane that would be? That would be crazy, man. Maybe Emu takes over Mihawk so he gets Zoro's Mihawk fight after all. Let's flipping go. I'd be down for that. I mean, with the eyes, who knows? Maybe it's been that way all along. Maybe it's been that way all along. You know? So, man. Dang, Josh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about it in that way. You're absolutely right. Like, one of the Straw Hats could get dipped into the pool. And we get... Oh, could you... Dude, that would be crazy, man. Zoro versus Sanji. Sanji has to. Going back to the one. Bro, if we were to get a continuation to the Wano chapter 1031 plotline, if something ever happens to me where I lose myself, you have to put me down. You get Zoro versus Sanji, even if it's flipped in reverse, where Sanji's the one that gets dipped into the pool and Zoro has to fight him. Could you imagine how peak those chapters would be? Oh, those would be so good. Going back to chapter 1031. That would be nuts. Yes. 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 Yes, man. I would be so down. Because we've been wondering what in the world happened. That we're going to get some sort of payoff to in the future for chapter 1031. It's this. It's this. Mother of Flagners. Thank you, Josh, man. Great comment. Menacing baseline comes with a 5, says the Emu had someone do the OP personality switch on him, and Joy Boy. I could totally see that. And then Domi reversing himself to be a demon Joy Boy. Crackpot theory? I don't think it's crackpot theory, menacing baseline. I think, because we've been thinking about the OP personality switch for a while, especially because it makes you immortal, right? It just makes so much sense. That's why the Lily thing came up. That's why we've been thinking about the possibilities of him, transporting into other bodies and things of that nature. But what fascinates me endlessly is if you're right, and he did switch with Joy Boy. Because that would explain why he has giant straw hat, and why Joy Boy is the thing he fears the most. Domi reversing yourself is fascinating. And it goes into this comment by Salty Steve on Lucifer, originally being known as Lightbringer, and that's exactly right. An individual who was the one in charge of like all of the thing for like praising and being like second in command to God himself, and then due to ambitions, due to wanting to take the seat of that throne, wanted to go do that, was cast down, right, and decided to want to be a attempt to still take over the throne someday, right, and thus created his own armies in that way. And in that way, the way in which those things intertwine with what we're seeing right now in the narrative, it makes so much sense, and it perfectly goes into what actually happened, what potentially actually happened with Emu back in the day, where like an individual who maybe was like Joy Boy's number one guy, right, like an individual who truly loved Joy Boy / Nika, and then decided to one day take the seat and want to try to take that seat that no one else would sit in. And thus what we saw is something similar than what actually happened. It's like if One Piece was exploring what would have happened if like if like man, how fascinating is that with like the concept of the devil and God and stuff. It's that type of stuff that makes One Piece so interesting to me, that you can have these type of conversations and they're like they just make so much sense in regards to like just looking at it from a contextual standpoint. Thank you, Salty Steve. Always great to be able to speak on those topics. That is so interesting. Spencer comes in with a 2 and says, "Turn the world upside down." Whitebeard and Roger, like going back to when the world sunk. The world technically did get turned upside down, Spencer. We talked about that when that chapter dropped, right? On how the world that is currently above the flooded land was turned, like literally turned upside down, where the other part of the world is underwater. The old world that Emu and Joy Boy lived in is now completely submerged underwater. So they did turn the world upside down. Now you have a Whitebeard and a Roger who's literally were going to turn the world upside down, and we're waiting. And now they await the person who's actually going to turn the world upside down, which has made me think so much about what's going to happen in the endgame of One Piece, where I think we could see a scenario where the world once again potentially gets flipped, and we see how the world of the Void Century actually was, because it's going to be our world for a little while. That very well could be a possibility. If all the water comes down, because I know the sea level is raising, but if it raises up to a point to where things get nuts, who knows what could happen? Who knows what could happen, man? But turning the world upside down in a literal sense, but then you're looking at it from a metaphorical sense, in what we're seeing here with the reversey, right? And that is exactly what we could be heading to as well, Spencer. This whole reversey concept just completely changed what I thought was possible, right, in this series. And to lines like that about turning the world upside down. Like, how interesting is that? Thank you, Spencer. I appreciate you. Then AO Chrome comes in with a 2-shot from my boy Josh. Zoro versus Sanji. Let's get it. Knicks in 7. Knicks in 7, baby. Knicks in 7. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Josh, man. Yo, Zoro versus Sanji, bro. If we have an arc, bro, I'll tell you right now, man. I have no shame in this. If we have an arc that has the Shamrock stuff, that has the Holy Land on fire, that has the mural, that has Emu pulling up, and it has Zoro versus Sanji paying off what happened in 1031, all of that while Luffy potentially faces off against Emu, Elbaf's going to be top 1. And I'm a Wano top 1 guy. I always said Wano's probably going to be my top 1 until we get to Laugh Tale. Then that's going to most likely end up being the top 1 because it's just the nature of what it's going to end up bringing, right? But man, yo, Elbaf, man, it's killing it, dude. It's Final Saga Oda. You know what I'm saying? It's peak. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, man. I love the flag runs out of Egghead too, bro. Like, Final Saga Oda, man. Appreciate you, AO Chrome. Thank you so much, my boy Josh. Laconis comes in with a 20 and says, Recon, Emu's power is based on the Reversey board game. There's a board game? Recon, Emu's power is based on the Reversey board game, where you flip pieces and turn them into yours. Look up the rules, King. It makes a lot of sense. It's also wild that what we saw in this chapter is Wi-Fi Hockey Emu, not even full power. Wi-Fi Hockey Emu is nuts! And you're right. What we're seeing here is a projection. Like, Emu from the Holy Land taking over Gunko's body, and just imagine. And that's what I'm talking about, Laconis. This is an Emu who is not even at full power and is doing this. And yet the full-powered Emu in the Holy Land was down on his knees because of Joy Boy's hockey from 800 years ago. Let me look up this Reversey game board, man. I'm fascinated. Yo, my stream is in super low quality right now. I blame you. Alright, so let's look up this Reversey game board. This board game was in 1883. Reversey is a strategy board game for 2 players, played on an 8x8 uncheckered board. It was invented in 1883. Othello, a variant with a fixed initial setup of the board, was patented in 1971. 2 players compete using 64 identical game pieces, discs, that are light on one side and dark on the other. That are light on one side and dark on the other. Each player chooses one color to use throughout the game. Players take turns placing one disc on an empty square, with their assigned color facing up. After a play is made, any discs of the opponent's color that lie in a straight line bounded by the one just played, and another one in the current player's color are turned over. When all playable empty squares are filled, the player with more discs showing in their own color wins the game. Did I just get spoiled on the final chapter of One Piece? On the final arc of One Piece? Bro! This is Luffy versus flipping Emu! This is Emu's abilities! No question! Bro! Robin and Zoro were playing the game in a One Piece opening? No way! That is so peak! And the Reversey is won by getting all pieces! The one piece you need to complete the Reversey, bro. What? Bro, this is nuts! This is Emu's abilities.
Now, what I have to question is this Emu's entire thing, or is this one thing in the book? Which very well may be the case as well. This is the Reversi that's in the book. Which means he real deal might have a game ability, just like Insomniac was talking about earlier, where he can play multiple different games. Oh, that's gonna be so flipping peak, man. Imagine Emu pulling out. If that's the case, imagine Emu pulling out a thing that says, like, I don't know, hide and seek, or things like that. That he's going to have. Oh, he has stands, bro. This man Emu has stands. Detailed rules. Let's look at the detailed rules here. The setup. The game begins with 4 pieces placed in the center of the board, 2 black, 2 white. The turns. Players take turns placing 1 piece.
Can't make this up, bro. You can't make this up, man. Players take turns placing 1 piece on the board with their color facing up. Roll the credits! Roll the credits! Players take turns placing 1 piece on the board with their color facing up. Flanking and flipping. A move is valid if it causes 1 or more opponent's pieces to be flanked, sandwiched, between 2 of the player's pieces. All flanked pieces must be flipped to the player's color. Number 4. A player must make a move that flips at least 1 opponent's piece. If no valid move is available, the player must pass. Oh! I think I know where this is going! Because if 1 flips to one side, that means 1 on Emu's side has to flip to the other. And that's where Goonko is the flip. When Goonko flips, due to the connection with Brook and whoever in the Flying Flatirons else is involved in that, then the Reversi game will be able to either reach its climax, or we're going to see how the rules bend both ways. Because there's no doubt in my mind, by the end of this arc, Goonko is going to be on our side of things, especially after that flashback. So, Dorian Brogy and them going to Emu's side, and then we take Goonko over to that side. I think we're looking at a scenario like this, right? A player must make a move that flips at least 1 opponent's piece, at least 1. And for us, it's going to be Goonko. There's no question about that. If no valid move is available, the player must pass. The game ends when either the board is full or neither. Wait a minute. The game ends. Isn't that what Summers and them said when they first got here? Hold on. What chapter did Summers and them come in again? Shamrock said it. Shamrock says, and I quote, Shamrock says you can make it into a game. With your powers, you can make it into a game, and that's why Emu is able to... Bro, there's connection. It is literally all over the arc. No wonder. Guys, no wonder when we started this arc, everybody was like, yo... Especially here in our chat, we were like, yo, why does this remind me so much of The Legend of Zelda? Why does this give me so much Zelda vibes? And now we get into Shamrock directly stating, with your powers, you can make it into a game. Which is what we've been playing up until this point. And now continuing into another game, the game of Reversi, we have Instant Messenger Sama. Like, dude. This is crazy, man. Yeah. Yo. Yo, man. I'm starting to lose my mind. Chapter 1128 was literally called RPG, Saeed. Like, there's so many things. All right, I'm on board. I'm on board. I'm on board with the game with the gamifying ability, man. I'm on board. I'm on board. So let's finish it. The game ends when either the board is full or neither player has made a valid move, and the winner is the player with the most pieces of their color on the board at the end of the game wins, which I find so fascinating. That is literally what's going to happen at the end of the finale of One Piece, where we have an instant messenger Sama against a Luffy. An instant messenger Sama was forced people to go under his rule. A Luffy who has not forced people to go under his rule. And we're going to see who has the most pieces on the board at the end of the game, man. Exactly, Quack. There was a chapter titled RPG, bro. Like, come on, man. This is nuts. Then Laconis follows it up. I'll get to the other supers in a sec. Laconis follows it up with a 5 and says, Imu has black pieces and flipped a white piece, Dory, into black. The 3 giants got turned because they stood between 2 black pieces. Oh, that makes sense. Let me go back. Oh, and it's you literally see the representation of it. Right here. I was wondering why this panel was like done in this way. Look at, I wish I could show you this panel. Like, the panel shows the 3 of them back to back like this, right? But in this way, they do look like pieces on a board. Genius. Utter genius. Exactly, Quack 2. Chess, color spread, Legoland, JRPGs, Reversey. Like, bro, it's Gameville. Elbaf is video games. We love to see it, man. Elbaf is board games. Elbaf is games. Just games. How cool is that? Laconis, man. Phenomenal. Phenomenal stuff. Thank you, bro. Holy sweet mother of flagnards, man. I might need to do something with this stream today. I might need to upload this stream twice. I might need to upload have the stream that's here, and then we might have to upload the discussion. You know what I'm saying? We might have to do both. Y'all are cooking. Y'all are cooking at the highest level today. Salty Steve comes in with a 2 and says, could the Buccaneers be Nephilim? Oh, snap. So then we bring into the idea of the Seraphim and the Nephilim. In the context of the One Piece verse, that would make so much sense. That would also go into the angel and devil motif that the anime is going for right now. Even the opening is called that, right? Where we have the angel in Kuma, the devil in Saturn. So the Buccaneers literally being that would be immensely fascinating. And the idea that these things are what the Gorosei were trying so hard to eliminate just adds on to that. How cool is that? How cool is that, man? Yo. Yeah. You know what, Salty Steve? I like that comment so much. I'm gonna take it. I'm not literally gonna. I'm not gonna do an emu. We're not gonna reverse the theory. But I'm not gonna reverse the theory. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to see if I can stock it in memory banks for the future, for when we do get to the Buccaneers content in the Void Century, because I think it is worth looking at. As a matter of fact, just recently in a Bible study, I was looking at the how like a tabernacle is created, and when you look at the Ark of the Covenant and you see the 2 angelic things that are protecting this particular thing, it is it is something that can very much apply here in this particular context, which I find to be so incredibly interesting. So thank you, Salty Steve, for that comment. I appreciate you so much. Mike Ross comes in with a 7 and says, the Florian tribal monster looks very similar to Emu, or could be another demon that is in subjugation. That's a great point, Mike Ross. That's something we've talked about before in regards to it looking similar to Emu. But now that we have this context, it very well could be the demon in subjugation. And once again, going back into biblical things, it is stated in Revelations that when the end times come, God will like release a seal that will allow the devil to be able to release his most powerful demons.
And I think that is huge in this context, because I feel like the closer we get to the end game of One Piece, now that we know this is an ability, then the actual like Demon Time individuals will start popping up that could have been kept under whatever sort of chains, metaphorically speaking, for all these years, right? So that very well could be, if that's the case, the Florian Triangle Monster could be one of those things. And once again, adding on to Thriller Bark importance, it just gets more and more important as the series progresses, and it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Thank you, Mike Ross, for that. I appreciate you. D-Coach comes in with a 2 and says, Mihawk clocked Luffy for an ability to make allies. Like, it's insane, D-Coach, looking back on that entire... You're so right, though. You're... Like, bro, Mihawk, he might have picked the wrong field. And he is the world's greatest swordsman, and there's no question about that. But he should have been a recruiter. Mihawk saw Luffy at first glance and was like, yo, he's him. You know, Mihawk should have been a coach. He should have been a recruiter, man. You know, he should have been he should have been a recruiter for my team. You know what I'm saying? Going in and trying to pick out the ability, the individuals with the best abilities fit for their particular roles. Because, man, he fit, he got Luffy the moment he first met him, and then they got him Marineford to a T. To a T. The most dangerous ability being allies, man. He should have been a coach. Coach Mihawk should have been a coach. You know what I'm saying? He should have been one. But since he's not a coach, I will. I'll love you, D-Coach, on a serious note. Thank you so much. Praetorius comes in with a 10 and says, Giants are between pacifist and warrior values. Brogy lost his strongest hand, so Dory will win. Like in Little Garden, either they quit or Brogy loses. And it'll be used to showing the Giants' true nature. See, this is the type of stuff I'm so fascinated with in regards to Elbaf, because I'm right there with you, Praetorius. Oda's editor comes in clutch once again and says, Giants are between pacifist and warrior values. Brogy lost his strongest hand, so Dory will win. Like in Little Garden, either they quit or Brogy loses. And this is going to be what's used to show the Giants' true nature. What's so beautiful about that, Praetorius, and what I find so thematically enriching about this arc, is right before all of this happened, once again, we got the Rania plotline. Rania is an individual who is not strong in the literal sense, right, of like someone who can grab that axe, and the same axe during Brogia, and swing that thing. But she's extremely strong on the inside with the warrior's mentality. And we got to see that on full display in the chapter. That is what it truly means to be a warrior. And now what we're going to see on the flip side of that is the nature of these individuals. And I find that to be so incredibly just beautiful in the sense of, from a storytelling standpoint, to have this arc be so consistent with showing the two different sides of these topics and ideas that they've continued to talk about in this arc. And I think for sure you're on to something with that. I would say you're super on. I mean, you're Oda's editor, so that makes a lot of sense, but you're super on to something with that. Like, I think that's a fantastic idea. And that's one of my favorite parts about this arc, honestly, is the way that they're exploring the fine line between the pacifist and warrior values. Oh, let me read this comment right here from my Japanese friend right here. Yeah, Mihawk is a coach. He's Zoro's coach. That's a good point. That's a good point. He is Zoro's coach. Let me go to Google Translate here. The world is about to be turned upside down. Luffy and the others find out what on earth is going on from Gaban and Chopper. Definitely, bro. We still haven't even gotten that. As Luffy comes in riding on Loki's shoulders. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Zoro and Sanji might have duels, so they aren't going to fight Summer and Dragon Tales if Joy Boy and Nika help Loki take on the Titans and redeem himself among his fellow Titans for the first time since the Void Century. So by Titans, you're talking about the Giants. Let me tell you something. Luffy and Loki fighting together against the Giants and Loki redeeming himself in their eyes is going to be so incredibly beautiful, man. If Zoro and Sanji that fight, bro, oh my goodness, man. And then when we get to the very end, because you know where this is heading towards, either Luffy and Loki succeed, and then Emu turns Loki into one of those things, and then we have Luffy and Loki there. And that's how we get Luffy versus Loki, or then we get Luffy and Loki versus Emu. And that's gonna be peak fiction. Either way, it's gonna be peak fiction. But man, oh man, it's gonna be peak fiction. Great comment, my friend. You're absolutely right. Santa hat level stuff right there. Santa hat level stuff. Santa hat level stuff. Going back to the supers here, I appreciate you once again, my friend. Menacing Baseline comes in with a 2 and says, Emu's out here playing Splatoon. Bro, literally, it's a battle about territory. Emu is out here. I think I still have my copy of Splatoon 2 here in this house. I always carry my Splatoon 3 copy with me. But that's a digital copy. Do I still have my Splatoon 2 copy? Here it is. This is Emu, man. This is literally Emu. Emu is out here playing Splatoon and going out and filling up as much territory as possible. Like, that is Emu's entire ability. Even the ability to go into the ink and come back out. Like, Emu is actually playing Splatoon. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Thank you, Medicine Baseline. That's so true. D-Cuts comes in with a 2 and says, Golden Week used Black for Betrayal. And yeah! Blackbeard in Darkness. All the way back then. Blackbeard in Darkness, which is the ultimate sign of betrayal in the series. The biggest betrayal in the series, right? Against Whitebeard and Thatch. But then Golden Week also using it for that battle way back then. Whew, that's a great call, D-Cuts. That's a great call. So, if that's the case, then Emu, a silhouetted individual who's covered in darkness, it's safe to say then that this person's entire backstory is going to be stemmed on betrayal, similar to what we were talking about earlier with Lucifer being the Lightbringer. Someone who betrayed while attempting to reach the top, right? So if this motif continues, and that's confirmed pretty much, right? It's a super Santa Hat level chapter. Super Santa level chapter. Let me go use the bathroom real quick because I don't want to end the stream yet. Let me go use the bathroom, and then we're gonna get back into some comments. I saw Akash Panda tell me to read the chapter 633 cover, so we're gonna do that right when I return. Give me 1 second, because I gotta go pee, man. This chapter has the bowels moving. You know what I'm saying? And if that's the proper way of saying it, I'll be right back. All right. Oh man, dude. Okay, let's let me go and grab the chapter 633 cover page. I think that is volume 63. Let me see. No, that is volume 64. Chapter 633, titled Friend or Foe.
All right, let's look at the thing here. Chapter 633. Bro, you know what's just as crazy? You know what's just as crazy? Is that a Kosh Panda? A Kosh Panda. Chapter 634. I know what this was back in context. 100,000 versus 10. But boy, that looks like that's going to be the final arc right there. If Imu keeps this up. So we have chapter 633, Friend or Foe. And it's Dorian Broggie. Oh, with his arm. Mother of Flagnards. With the books. The pages in the air. They're hitting each other as pages are in the air flipping like they did in this chapter. This is nuts, man. This is actually nuts. This is nuts. Yo, that's crazy, bro. Dorian Broggie, Friend or Foe. See, I thought you were referring to the pages. Let alone the title. I didn't even look at the title. You're right, Friend or Foe, connecting to the chapter 1124. What was stated in 1124 as well. Chapter 1113 color page. Let me see. Oh snap! I got a super while I was in the bathroom. I'll check that right after I check this. Okay, 1113. Great, that was a great chapter, man. Oh, I love this one, man. And how insane is this in context? How insane is this in context, bro? The chest cover, man. I mean, this is actually... I mean, Nami's obviously the queen. Robin being in command of this is going to be so crazy. Obviously, holding the Gear 5 piece. Zoro. Sanji on the other side. Chopper. The clones of Chopper. Man, I really... On a serious note, even outside of like looking at it from like the lens of this chapter, I love this color spread. But in context, it's kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts. Yeah, no, facts. I definitely look forward to seeing AJ's reaction as well. I know how much he loves Emu. So Salty Steve comes in with a $5 super chat and says, the Nephilim are known as the Ancient Giants of Babylon. That's right, they are known as the Ancient Giants of Babylon. Babylonia, man. Babylon. Oh, that is cool. Oh, that's so true. That's so true. No, bro. No, sorry for the spoiler. It's in the texts. It's in the real life texts. You know what I'm saying? That's real. So if that's the case, oh man, yes. Yo, Salty Steve is spitting. Salty Steve is flipping spitting, man. That is, yes sir. Salty Steve is cooking with that. There's no doubt about that. Thank you so much for that, Salty Steve. Let me just check the updates one more time before we continue discussing the chapter. So right here, we're looking at the top 10 for this particular chapter, this stream. The community leaderboard is as follows. Laconis is at number 10. Lou Rock at number 9. Saeed at number 8. Josh Pointer at number 7. Number 6 is JSLISZT. Number 5 is Quag2. Number 4 is Declan VH. Number 3 is Akash Panda. Number 2 is Ron Will Win. And number 1 is Shiro Nura. So that is the community leaderboard for this chapter. All love to those individuals. I still can't believe we have a leaderboard here. This is insane. So Quag2 says, Coach, go to around page 9 of chapter 72. Usopp stocks are back on the menu.
Page 9 of chapter 72. Chapter 72, I think that's Baratier. Right? Is that Baratier? What would that be? Volume 6? No, it's not. That's my. Is it Arlong? Number 8. Is it still Baratier? No. It is the first chapter of the legendary Volume 9. I have no idea how the leaderboard works, Declan, but you're number 1 now. It is Arlong Park. So let's go to volume 72, titled Proper Living, page 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I am the fearless warrior of the seas, Captain Usopp. Who slop? Doesn't ring a bell. Look at Nojiko. Who is that guy? They call me Usopp the Demon King. And kings tremble at the name. Flee now and live. I have 8,000 hardened killers behind me, and all of that's gonna be true, baby, which tells me, Usopp, Emu, let's go. Let's go. Yo, that is awesome. On a serious note, thank you. I completely forgot about this. Oh man, Usopp stocks through the roof, baby. That's great. That is great. Oh man. Yo, seriously, Red Omar. And you know what the crazy part about Red Omar is? This is when Oda. Oh, that reminds me. Somebody pointed this out earlier. I'm sorry. I think it was Laconis that pointed this out earlier. That the text on the rings of the Spellbinding Circle look like poneglyph writings. If that's the case, I am so curious on the Void Century's way of language, the way in which they wrote things, right? Because now we're seeing that both from Emu's perspective and from the perspective of the Kozuki clan who left behind the poneglyphs. So the poneglyph writing being a part of the Spellbinding Circle is so incredibly interesting. And I appreciate you so much. And speaking on that, going back to what Red Omar was saying, which by the way, awesome name. It's also my name. The idea of him having this stuff, or anyone thinking about all this back in Alabasta, is like nuts, right? But like we've been talking about in many streams, you look at Drum Island, Alabasta, and Jaya and Skypiea. So many end game things were introduced in those arcs. The Will of D, Blackbeard, the Gordosei, the rest of the Shichibukais as we know them now, right? Especially the really important ones. The idea of ancient weapons, the idea of the Void Century, the idea of the poneglyphs. So many things were thought up in that time period. Obviously, Oda didn't have everything planned out. But the markers were there. He knew eventually he wanted to have these conversations brought up. And all of that is so interesting to me, especially when you think about how back in Alabasta, when Robin was reading the poneglyph and we were seeing that for the first time, how that led us to this point. How us seeing poneglyphs, which kept the history that the Kozuki clan wanted to preserve and scattered it throughout the globe, would also have the same ancient texts that could lead to the spellbinding circles that then lead into stuff like this. It's just nuts, man. It's nuts. Enjoyer, that would be so peak if Usopp is the one that controls all of them, because I've always believed in the final saga, in like the Laugh Tale section of it, or whatever. Usopp is going to have his giant army and then the Tontada army, and he's going to go up in like swimwear. Just like Dofi hated Usopp the most, Emu will as well. That's going to be exactly right. Where you at in the Ravages of Time, bro? So I got on. Yo, Miss, thank you so much for getting me in Ravages once again, man. I am on chapter, I believe I left off on 124. What was the last chapter I read off on? And I would have kept on the pace that I was at
but I got way too on Xenoblade, man. I'm deep into Xenoblade, bro. I've been going ham. And now Elden Ring comes out today. So whenever I get my chance to play some games tonight, we're hopping immediately on the Elden Ring greatness. But when I get some time back, then we'll definitely hopping back on Ravages of Time because I love it, man. What an awesome thing. Coach, what platform are you playing Elden Ring on? So I played the original Elden Ring on the PlayStation, but since this is going to be a multiplayer experience, I'm getting it on Xbox because most of my friends are over on Xbox that I normally play the game with. My single player games, I get them on PlayStation. My multiplayer games, I get them on Xbox. So that's where I have, well, except for Marvel Rivals, I have that on PlayStation. But that's because I want to take that with me on the Portal. So that's where I got that. But Elden Ring, I'm getting on Xbox. I got it on PlayStation 5. Dang, Super Scorpio. That's unfortunate. I wish, it's so stupid that it's not crossplay. Like, I understand the limitations that were placed on not making it crossplay, but I feel like most multiplayer games should have crossplay now. It's a shame. But yeah, man, hopefully we'll be able to find each other one day when they do add crossplay over in the realms. And people said that Elbaf would be Usopp's arc. It still might be. It still might be. But, similar to Wano in how, for so long it was like, that's going to be Zoro's arc. And it ended up being a collective arc of so many different things. I feel like Whole Cake was an exception because that was on a specific character that we were thematically exploring there throughout the course of that entire thing. But Wano was culminating so much to be down to a single person, right? Similar to how Egghead was starting off the final saga, it couldn't have just been Frankie's arc. So, like, even though obviously those expectations were put into place, and man, Zoro and Wano was sensational, and Frankie had some fun moments in Egghead. I do think Usopp is going to get some significant and incredible stuff in this arc. But obviously, this arc has a huge role to play in the grand scheme of the narrative, especially if this is the arc where the Revolutionary Army has now officially declared war on the WG as is potentially being hinted at, or Blackbeard in them, right? Because now we're heading into some true endgame stuff, and this is what's taking us into that path. Now, speaking of endgame stuff, Emu, right? So even though these arcs are not centered around set individuals, the same way that something like Whole Cake Island was, I most certainly still do expect Usopp to have a significant role to play in this arc and some really, really good stuff. I still have my stocks in Usopp. It's just that, Emu's in this arc right now, and that's my guy. That's my guy. No, all love to you, LB. I appreciate you for joining us on the lunch break. It was peak. It was flipping peak, yo. Whole Cake Island Brooks arc, Elbaf Brooks arc. I'll take it, God Killer. You know what I'm saying? I'll take it. No. Are we still live? My stream just refreshed. I think we're still live. Yeah, we're good. It's just the thing for some reason stopped. Alright, let's go back. So, yo, Coach, you get PLZA on launch day? PLZA. This chapter may have... Pokemon Legends Arceus? The A? Or not A. Pokemon Legends A. That's what it's called, right? The new one? Oh, let me see. If that is what we're talking about, yes. I'm still trying to get a Switch 2 for pre-order, and if I'm not able to get one around time of release, it is Pokemon Legends A, right? Pokemon Legends A? That's the name of the game? Yeah, Pokemon Legends ZA. Pokemon Legends ZA. Definitely getting that on launch if I'm able to get a Switch 2. If I'm able to get a Switch 2, we're definitely making that happen. There's no question. No question. You should have 2 separate channels for gaming and anime content. I've thought about that in the past, but it's so. Both of them are so intertwined with my identity on this channel and have always been. Going back to the beginnings of this channel with the big three and Metal Gear Solid and Final Fantasy, that I can't separate them. Even though I know it hurts the channel in the long run, gaming and anime manga content is my channel. It's always been my channel. And so, like I said, it would probably be better for the channel onward just to separate them. But I just can't separate them. You know, especially when my two biggest series on the channel are One Piece and Trails, which couldn't be any more similar, but also couldn't be any more different in regards to the audiences that they're reaching for. One in gaming, one in anime. So it's worked because they're both long running series. But I can't imagine not covering like Final Fantasy on this channel or not talking about like video games on this channel. It's just the way it is, man. It's the way it's always been. Like I started off this channel doing big three stuff, also releasing like Call of Duty videos and Metal Gear Solid videos and Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts. So I can't imagine the channel without gaming. What do you think will happen when Emu dips? I'm not confident that Luffy and Loki will be seeing Emu in this arc, but if Gunko is left behind, will she spill the beans? So this is actually a really interesting idea, Quad, too. So I think... Let's roll it back. What's going to cause... So last week after the chapter, I was talking to my cousin Adrian, and he brought up the possibility that that the way Gunko gets out of Emu's body is by Brook using Takano Jutsu, and he was saying that like in a playful comedic term. But I think something conceptually will happen like that, right? Where Gunko will be freed either due to Emu willingly going back, realizing things are already here, taken care of with like the giants, quote unquote, taken care of, and decides to pull back to the Holy Land where Emu's needed, right? And decides to leave Gunko and the rest here. If that's the case, and we have the reverse C happened after that, then if Luffy and Loki do not see Emu in this arc, but Gunko's left behind, I strongly believe Gunko will join our side. And we'll probably get significant information on the Gorosei, the Holy Knights, and Emu. Because if we got the silhouette, if we got the Gunko silhouette for the flashback in this arc, I think this will also be the arc where we get the Gunko flashback, however short or long that may end up being. It might even connect into the Loki flashback. We get like a Gunko and Loki flashback. So I would say yes, Quack 2. I would say I still think Luffy and Loki see Emu, but if they don't see Emu, then either way we get a lot of information from Gunko about it, unless Emu kills Gunko. Similar to the way that Emu killed Saturn. Those are my thoughts on it, Quack 2. I'm interested in seeing y'all's thoughts on that. But if Gunko is left behind, I firmly, unless Emu is preoccupied, like heavily preoccupied in the Holy Land, Emu's probably going to kill Gunko. If Gunko goes to the other side, or we could find something out that could potentially save her, right? Like, but I do believe Gunko will be on our side, especially after the reverse comment. Just realized, yeah, definitely Silver Shot. Just realized Luffy's brother is literally called Ace, and the leader of the Spade Pirates. Oda has been cooking this since pre-timeskip. Yeah, with like the cards and the game concept. Nah, man, for sure, dude. Absolutely. Yeah, same, Winston. I really believe Robin is going to be clutched in this arc. She has crazy motivation. I bet we're going to see something with the... Yes, Daniel Minuti, 100%. We're going to see... We've already gotten some great stuff with Robin from a character standpoint in this arc, but I definitely do think we're going to get some really cool stuff with Robin. I mean, we've already gotten some really cool stuff with Robin, but we're going to continue getting some cool stuff with Robin. We might be getting Luffy vs. Emu next week. No break. That's right, there's no flipping break, bro. Oh, man. You know, so next week, here's the plan. Here's the plan for next week. Next week, because I'll definitely be home. Hopefully, I'll be home. And if I'm home and the chapter drops around the same time, if it drops early enough on Thursday, I'll do this stream on Thursday, and then if Jeff Keighley lets me, we'll do Summer Games Fest live on Friday. If One Piece drops late, which would be today,
I might do a back-to-back One Piece live reaction, Summer Games Fest live reaction. In the same day. Maybe I'll do One Piece in the morning, Summer Games Fest at night. Because I do want to do Summer Games Fest because I think this is going to be a big one for stuff I enjoy. But the thing is, I don't know if I'm going to get copyright hit. Because last time I did a stream was during the Square Enix conference, during the Final Fantasy VII Remake reveal. Or not reveal, that was in 2015, but during the big show in 2019 when they were showing the gameplay. And I still have that video saved. It's just it got hit with copyright. So if Big Jeff allows me to stream Summer Games Fest, we'll be here next week for the chapter and Summer Games Fest. That's gonna be a crazy day. Crazy day. So, God, man, Luffy, the potential Luffy and Emu confrontation and Summer Games Fest on the same day is gonna be peak fiction. That's gonna be beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You streaming the Pokemon Presents as well? Probably not. Just because I'm not as into. I mean, I love Pokemon. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not as into it as some of the other stuff that is and it's in that realm. But that's gonna be super cool to watch. I'll definitely be talking about it online for sure. Maybe even during the top 5 of the week that week as well. Oh, Salty Steve left a super chat right here. My bad, bro. Comes up with a 5 and says, David versus Goliath. Tell me what was David's weapon of choice. Slingshot, man. It's gonna happen. We're gonna get our David Goliath moment where we have Usopp with a slingshot on the rock, and he's gonna hit whoever it is in the flying flatters in the head. We're gonna get it. It's gonna happen. We've already gotten too many biblical references for it not to happen, so it has to happen, and it's gonna be so peak when it does happen. And Oda has been setting up for that to take place throughout the course of the entire series. And it's gonna be so peak, right? Because we're gonna be placed in a situation where it's gonna be unwinnable. And Usopp, through the miracle of the flipping heavens, is going to go in with this final slingshot, hit it, and that's going to be the thing that topples over the Giants. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, bro. It's going to happen. Yeah, exactly, Quag2. Like, you understand. Like, because Emu can do that, and thank you, by the way, Salty Steve. Because Emu can do that at any point, it really does, it's going to be difficult for Gunko to be able to do so. The most difficult thing. But if we can find a way to be able to get out of that, maybe even a connection with music, like we were talking about last week, to be able to free Gunko from that, then we could find out a lot of stuff in regards to how the way the abilities in One Piece work, how Emu's abilities work, if we're able to stop Gunko from getting evaporated the same way Saturn did. Yeah, or an exorcism, for sure. Potentially happening soon. That would be nuts on some Bleach stuff. Imagine next One Piece chapter and the next FF7 after. Listen, Omnicron Ghost. I can't handle, personally, I think the last time that happened was, for me on the same day, we had a Crazy Trails trailer. The same day we had like a crazy One Piece chapter. That was nuts, right? Like then we had the Reverie and the Reverie, literally. The Reverie here on the channel and the Trails into Reverie dropping. Like, they always happens that way. The week FF7 Remake came out, or was announced, was huge for both One Piece and from a video game standpoint. The week of E3 was the week of the one of the crazy chapters in the Reverie. I think it was 906 or 907. So there's a lot of connections there. So if next Friday we come back here and we got One Piece peak, and I get a hint and a glimpse of either FF7 Part 3, Kingdom Hearts 4, which we just got some screenshots for the other day, and it looks peak, man. Or we get another look into MGS3. I know we're going to get another look into Death Stranding 2, which I'm super excited for, and I know that's on the horizon. We've already gotten some previews for that. It said that Switch 2 is also going to be at the... let me actually, before we continue on, I saw some supers here. These are the... So at Summer Games Fest, we're going to have just... it's doing like a brief overview. Bond and Namco is going to be there. Capcom's going to be there. CD Projekt Red's going to be there. Devolver. Epic, so they might show Gears. Square Enix, Nintendo, PlayStation, Sega. Man, Sega, they can show some good stuff too. Steam, Xbox. So, obviously... super excited for a lot of those. and all the rest that are on here as well. But it could be a big one, man. And the Game Awards was insane, so I'm excited for Summer Games Fest for sure. Kosh Panda comes in with a 2 and says JB towered over Im, the giant straw hat, a reverse of Luffy's. Oh, so yes, Akash Panda, yes. As a matter of fact, remember back to Madame Shirley's prophecy. I could actually see a situation where Emu goes back into the original body, especially hypothetically talking about the Emu in Joy Boy's body, or going back to, I believe it was Menacing Baseline, I was talking about that. Someone with a giant straw hat, or someone with a straw hat, still going to destroy the Fishman Island. We still have to remember that. So if that's the case, Emu is going to have to, in some way, shape, or form, destroy the Fishman Island with the giant straw hat. So if that's the case, we're going to... No, it's great. It is fantastic, Kosh Panda. But on a serious note, it truly is something to think about. Like, it truly is something to think about. That Joy Boy was, like, that much bigger than Emu. I mean, just look at the size of the giant straw hat. Thank you, Kosh Panda. Did Loki kill his father because he was possessed by Emu? Yes, I believe so, Vile. I believe so. That is definitely what it appears to be. Alejandro Solis comes in with the 2 and says, imagine it's Usopp versus Dorian Brogy. Bravery. Oh, man. The individuals that he cares about most, that would be such an incredible character moment for Usopp. The individuals that he really looks up to. Oh, man, that has to happen. Usopp doing everything possible. Bro, that might make Usopp so mad he even strikes an attack at Emu. Like, you how dare you deal with the giant? Bro, everyone on planet Earth would have so much respect for Usopp. The king of the world is here, and Usopp is like, nah, F that, dog. Like, yo, you are messing with me and my people and the giants. Because we know when Usopp comes in the most clutch is when you're messing with something that's really core and personal to him. Nothing more core and personal to him than the giants of Elbaf. And now they're messing with the giants of Elbaf. And so it's like, Usopp peak incoming. Usopp peak incoming, man. Will you stream? Oh, thank you, Alejandro Solis. Will you stream for Tudum tomorrow? I wish, man. I wish. Netflix does not play in the slightest in regards to copyright. When we did the One Piece Day live stream with a Netflix live reaction, even though they didn't copyright strike the stream, I still got copyright claimed. Both on that video, anytime I show live action footage, I always get copyright claimed. So you add that on top of all the other stuff they're going to show on that Netflix stream, I can't do it, man. My channel will get wiped out. You know what I'm saying? My channel will get wiped. But what I will be doing is watching Tudum and having the camera next to me ready. And so when the One Piece thing comes up, do the live stream, upload the video. That's my plan. That is my plan. That is definitely my plan. Then B Money comes back with a 2 and says, gonna send future super chats to explain, dream to email. Absolutely, B Money. Appreciate you. And like I said, even if you can't send it in supers, definitely send it in any other way. Just in case you don't have the opportunity to do so because we ended the stream or something. We're already at 3 hours, bro. We don't need to see or hear it. We just want to see you. Oh, that's against Gosh Panda. Then we could definitely... We might be able to do that. If y'all are down for a stream tomorrow where I don't have the stream up, but we can all watch it together, I'd be down for that. What time does this start? Netflix Tudum. Netflix Tudum is... It starts... While I try to find the starting time, if y'all can let me know what the starting time is. Because I can't find it here. Is this good? Of course, Brandon Cordovas. No problem. 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so 8 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, man, we could do that. So what we'll probably do then, tomorrow, we'll be here at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm gonna see, because according to that thing you sent me, Akash Panda, it looks like the Straw Hats are gonna be doing a watch party, right? So if the Straw Hats are doing a watch party, I don't know if that's what that implied. If they do a watch party, I'm watching that. Not even watching the official stream. Screw the official stream. I'm watching the one with our beloved crew. But if it's not that, then what we'll do is tomorrow I'll have the stream playing in the background. There might be something I'm interested in, maybe a few things, and then we'll just be here for the One Piece thing. And then after I react to the One Piece trailer reaction, or to the live action trailer, if it does come out tomorrow, we'll close the stream after that. I'll edit it down, put it together, upload it as a separate video so that other people don't have to watch the entire stream. And then I think we'll do it that way. I think we'll do it that way. Oh, they'll be on stage. Awesome. Okay, they'll be on stage. Cool. Okay. When Usopp said in Little Garden that he wants to be just like Dory and Brogy, Nami and Brogy both said, so you want to become a giant? What if Usopp actually turns into a giant by either Emo or Luffy using his powers? I'd be down for either of the two side. But I think it's also important to remember what happened with Rania. Rania displayed warrior mentality and warrior pride just by being her. And so I feel like Usopp may just represent that through who he actually is, right? Which is just Usopp, rather than turning into a giant. But if he does turn into a giant, let's flipping go, man. I'd be down for that, John. I would be down all day for that. 110%. Yo, Aaron Epsch, good to see you. I'm guessing the Gunko will pass out after Emu leaves her body, which could be what undoes Gunko's active arrows. So, yes, that would undo Gunko's active arrows, and Gunko passing out after leaving her body would actually give us an opportunity for when she wakes up. Because you know how sometimes in stories, you have a character that passes out, and when they wake up, you see like a piece of their backstory as they're waking up? We could have that with Gunko. That would give us the opportunity to, when Gunko wakes up, we get that part of her backstory, at least a piece of it. Maybe the connection to Brook. Maybe Brook speaks of Gunko's backstory while Gunko's asleep. And then that leads us into whatever's going to happen with Gunko later on in the arc. That makes sense to me, Quack 2. That makes sense to me. So actually, if we're going to be streaming tomorrow, if that's going to be the game plan, and then let's just make that the afterthoughts. In terms of our post-discussion after the chapter. Because that'll give us plenty of time to discuss this chapter while we wait for the live action. So that might be what I'll do. Is we'll just do the afterthoughts there. But I feel like I might have to talk about this chapter before that. Chapter was too good. This chapter was too good. Bro, Giant Luffy and Giant Usopp combo attack, that would be insane. Akash Panda, that would be insane. Can you imagine? Luffy and Usopp, both in giant form, boxing? Oh, inject it. Because I can't think of any other way the straws wrapped up in Gunko's arrows can be freed. Yes. Because Robin, like you said they can't be cut. So the only way that can happen is by... You know, a lot of stuff in One Piece happens because of the consequences of one's own actions. Both on our side and on the enemy's side. Right? Like, the enemies do something that leads to their own undoing. And I feel like Emu taking over Gunko's body at that point in time is actually what's going to eventually lead to the Straw Hats getting freed. And the consequences of their own actions would then lead to us finding some sort of way to get out of the situation. And what you're saying here is exactly what that leads into. And I agree with that 100%. Yeah. I think that's what we're going to do, Akash Panda. I think that's what we're going to do. We'll do the afterthoughts tomorrow during the Tudum. Like, it's literally just going to be us talking about the One Piece chapter as we wait until the live action trailer, and then after that we'll upload the trailer as its own separate video. So I might, after the stream is over, just call it the afterthoughts, and then put the trailer in its own separate thing. I think that's what I'm going to do. But ladies and gentlemen, we have been streaming for 3 hours.
This has been a phenomenal stream. Y'all cooked at the highest level to the point where I am actually legitimately questioning whether I want to download this stream and upload a piece of it or pieces of it in a separate video, because I think it would be very valuable for individuals who don't want to watch this entire stream. Like, we had some good stuff here. Akash Panda, your time codes are going to be of the highest of the highest importance, even for me, if I do go back and do that. Put up like a stream highlights for this chapter, because I think it calls for it. So I'm going to think about doing that if I get the opportunity to do so. That would definitely, a chapter like this would definitely call for it. But we will be back tomorrow, hopefully, for the Totem event. Well, but before I do that, let me read Quack2's comment here. I don't think this will actually happen, but you can imagine Vivi and Morgan show up on Elbaf. Oh, just in the midst of all this peak, Emu sees her and switches hopes between. Don't do that to me, Quack2. Emu will immediately be like, oh, I don't want this body anymore. That's the body I want most. Immediately goes to Vivi. Luffy comes in and is like, yo, what you doing? Bah! Oh, man, I need that. That just got me going. Man, dude. Oh, Quack2, that would be so peak. Because, yes, then in that moment, we would see how Emu potentially takes over other bodies. That might be the moment he leaves Gunko's body. Sees Vivi, goes in, goes to leave the body, is unable to take it. Or does take it. That would be another whole thing to go about as well. V-Moo incoming. Literally. But yeah, just like the comments were saying, all-time stream. Y'all, this is why I'm so glad I started a YouTube channel. It's because all of these things that I could have just, seen on other comments or discussed it with either people whenever I first got into doing One Piece on YouTube, I started because I didn't have many people to discuss One Piece with in real life. But now, having the opportunity to be able to discuss a chapter like this, a chapter like the mural, where there's so many possibilities and things to discuss about the future of the story, it's these types of discussions that are so valuable to me. And so I thank everybody for being a part of this today, and everyone for being a part of it. The chapter itself was peak, the post discussion was peak, and it was a fun time, man. Thank y'all so much for this incredible stream, and I will see y'all hopefully tomorrow for the Totem event and for what's bound to be the One Piece live action season 2 trailer, which I'm so excited for. Y'all have a good one. Take care, and I will see y'all next time.